The kid has been training his 5-chain whip for 2.5 years. Even the leash-holding pup was whipped into a frenzy by his moves. If a zombie dared to step within 2.5 paces, he just needed one strike to take it out. Were it not for his heavy balls acting as an anchor, the boy would have been dragged straight to heaven by that leash. But it was all just a dream. The kid's name is Zai Lin. Starting back 2.5 years ago, he has suffered the same nightmare every single night. A world crawling with zombies. The mission the system gave him was absurd as hell. Wipe out the zombies to restore everything to normal. Wipe out the zombies to restore everything to normal. At first, Zai Lin had zero strength to fight back. Every day, he would wake up scared shitless, right before getting eaten alive. The mental toll from this endless, repetitive nightmare was turning him into a wreck. He started seeking professional help, but whether it was therapy, hypnosis, massage, or medication, the nightmare never stopped. With nothing else to do, the doctor tried getting him to record his dreams, and then find a way to beat the game. And so, Zai Lin set off on his path to level up for the future. Today is his 99th time tackling this nightmare. Even though he wielded his 5-chain whip like a master, he still got whacked by a zombie in the final stretch. The next day, Zai Lin met the doctor to record his dream as usual. After 2.5 hours of deep intellectual exchange, the woman suggested they grab a bite. They ended up at a small diner. Before he could even swallow his rice, Zai Lin heard some fat guy shouting at the owner. Zai Lin glanced over, curious. But a second later, his expression turned to pure horror. The owner was standing there, silent, blood dripping from his eyes. The fat guy was oblivious, thinking the owner was just ill. But Zai Lin knew exactly what it was. The symptoms of the turning. Beads of sweat rolled down his face. Zai Lin could not stop the trembling. The doctor spotted his tension, asking him what happened. Before Zai Lin could reply, the next second, the owner turned into a zombie and lunged at the fat guy. The gore sent shockwaves through Zai Lin's brain. His nightmare had actually become reality. He sat frozen at the table in disbelief, until the fat guy was chewed to death by the zombie. That is when he finally snapped back to reality. Outside, the streets were already in complete chaos. Countless zombies were swarming in. After finishing off the fat guy, the owner charged straight at Zai Lin. At the critical moment, Zai Lin instinctively grabbed a jar of pickles and smashed it into the zombie's head. Its skull cracked. But Zai Lin knew that would not be enough to finish it off. He scrambled to the kitchen, kicked the mop apart, spear in hand. He was ready to take on the world. Zai Lin's eyes turned steely. The moves he would practiced countless times in his dreams flooded his mind. He ducked to dodge the zombie's attack, and gripped the wooden handle to strike back. The pole slid smoothly into the zombie's brain. Zombie down. Zai Lin panicked. After 2.5 seconds of deliberation, he finally accepted the reality 600. He finally accepted the reality. The doctor had already pissed herself in terror. Zai Lin, did you just kill someone? Zai Lin looked at her, clearly annoyed. Doc, did you lose your glasses or something? Can't you see the streets are in total anarchy? That thing is a zombie. Little cuties. The doctor looks terrified. Suddenly, he remembers that notebook. Could these be the monsters from Zai Lin's dreams? A massive explosion blasts nearby. Zai Lin's expression turns grim. He glances out the window. The nearby gas station is up in flames. Sure enough, the reality unfolding matches his dreams perfectly. Looks like the outbreak is not just in this small town. Zombies are popping up in every major city now. Zombies are swarming every major city now. Zai Lin starts to panic. The 7.99 speedrun walkthrough. The 7.99 speedrun walkthrough. 0 pork belly, but a successful one-hit zombie clear. Spicy stir-fried pork, no survivors. Wait, what? No human successfully pushed back the zombies. Damn it. Not a single soul managed to clear the factory. Spicy stir-fried pork. Is this how I am going to survive, just scraping by? Am I really destined to just rot away like this? Suddenly, a system notification rings in his ears. Escort the expert. Skill unlock reward. Received skill transfer. Goal achieved. Skill transfer acquired. Zai Lin looks stunned. Why? Why is this mission different from the one in my dream? Did something change? Can the ending actually be changed? The current task is a main quest he has never completed before. A strange premonition washes over him. This time, maybe I can actually save the world. The boy gains a mysterious system. Not only can he absorb others' traits as skills, he can also fuse them to create even more powerful moves. Upon receiving the system's first task, darn it, the zombies have already spotted them in the restaurant. Zai Lin snaps Choi Loy out of his daze and signals him to run. The little cuties on the road are salivating. Are these guys basically walking experience points? The two dash their way into a warehouse. Zai Lin locks the door with practiced ease. He immediately turns to the toolbox to find a weapon. That is it. This is where he found his first weapon in the dream, and where his path to strength truly begins. Wrapping the dog leash around his hand, Jae Rin's aura completely shifts. Get ready. I am going to break through the shortest path straight to my place. Choi Loi is still in shock. He has not even processed Jae Rin's warning yet, let alone register what is happening. Jae Rin throws the warehouse door wide open. Success. The nearby freaks are instantly drawn to him. Jae Rin's face is cold. His eyes are locked and determined. The 5-chain whip in his hand begins to build momentum. Still keeping within that 2.5-step range, Jae Rin lashes out. The howl of zombies mixed with the metallic snap of the leash jolts Choi Loi back to reality. He looks completely dumbfounded. Is this kid really the same pathetic patient I knew? If he is not Master Ma's own disciple, who else could pull off such a ruthless 5-chain whip? Whip in hand, I am invincible. Jae Rin is completely in the zone now. With the general's combat expertise, a swarm of zombies is taken down with ease. Choi Loi is left starstruck. The kid looks like an absolute beast in the sunlight. Meanwhile, even more monsters are swarming toward them. Jae Rin shoots a sharp, icy glare. Now is not the time to drag things out. I have got a system mission to finish. Seeing Choi Loi still staring blankly, Jae Rin curses under his breath and calls out to him. What are you spacing out for? You want to be their lunch. Snap out of it. Both fought for their lives to escape. They finally made it back to Jae Rin's place before sunset. Jae Rin lived on the outskirts. There were not many zombies around. The moment they stepped inside, Choi Loi collapsed to his knees. It was not because he wanted a lollipop, but because his legs had turned to jelly. Jae Rin helped him onto the sofa. Just then, the system sent a notification. Quest complete. Skill inheritance unlocked. Acquired inheritance F rank. Status: you can now siphon skills from experts. Jae Rin began to think. Jae Rin began to think. Jae Rin began to think. What does it mean to be an expert? What exactly qualifies someone as an expert? What is an expert? How is it defined? Suddenly, the system popped up another alert. This expert has a high opinion of you. You can siphon skills from him now. Jae Rin smirked. Guess you were not a complete waste of space. Inheritance skill activated. On the surface, this kid looks like a total weakling, but secretly, he is a master of the 5-chain whip. Jae Rin used his inheritance skill on Choi Loi. The next second, he was warped into a blood-red space. What was even stranger, Choi Loi could not even see these colors around them. Looks like skills I siphon are not visible to others. Suddenly, the system pinged. Congratulations, you have acquired a skill. F rank Mental Soothe. Can stabilize a target's mental state. Well damn, with this, I could practically run a psychiatric clinic. But this is the apocalypse. Jae Rin was not sure if the skill would even prove useful. Just then, Choi Loi lit a cigarette. His body started trembling. Hardly a surprise though. The guy was just a regular civilian. From the moment he saw a zombie until now, he has been running for his life. Whenever the adrenaline fades, a mental breakdown follows. But this works out perfectly. Jae Rin could test out his newly acquired skill on him. He reached out his hand. Jae Rin silently activated Mental Soothe. A beam of red light enveloped Choi Loi. System alert. Skill activated successfully. The target's mental state has stabilized. The next moment, the crying, shaking Choi Loi turned into a calm, collected lad. Well damn, that healing effect was way too fast, was not it? Suddenly, countless figures flooded Jae Rin's mind. There were experts from all sorts of fields in his village. Doesn't that mean I can just siphon all their skills for myself? Just thinking about it. Jae Rin's smile grew increasingly twisted. Meanwhile, at an abandoned gas station, a buff guy was fighting off a horde of zombies solo. Even at 73 years old, he was cutting through zombies like a hot knife through butter. He is the #1 martial artist in the world today. Park Da-bong. That is right. He was the first person Jae Rin thought of to siphon skills from. He hopped on his bike and headed straight for the town center. Even though Park Da-bong practiced the heavenly demon divine art, ordinary zombies were no match for him. However, Jae Rin was very clear about the situation. Because in his visions, Park Da-bong's outcome was far from perfect. The main cause of all this was 2 major variables. So this time, Jae Rin had to get to him before the chaos truly broke out, and snatch the heavenly demon divine art for himself. Zombies are not even scary. If only those zombies could evolve. Park Da-bong, the top dog of the current martial arts world, a 73-year-old badass with a gym-honed body, unleashing the heavenly demon divine art. He made those little zombie scrubs stand no chance. But just when he thought that was all there was to these zombies, thundering footsteps suddenly echoed from outside the door. A 2.5-meter giant zombie walked in. Its massive maw full of fangs gulped down a smaller zombie in one bite. It was as if its size came from devouring its own kind. After eating a zombie, the giant let out a satisfying roar. Tastes like chicken, but this display only seemed to excite Park Da-bong. Hey, finally, a worthy opponent. Park Da-bong leapt into action, his fist as big as a sandbag ready to strike. Heavenly Demon Divine Art, second form. Fierce tiger dance. Punches rained down on the zombie like a storm. Park Da-bong's veins bulging, power pouring out with every hit. The giant zombie took the blows like a drum. It suddenly let out an angry roar. Park Da-bong was shocked. They say a chaotic punch can kill a master, but even after that flurry of blows, the thing was completely unfazed. The giant zombie lunged, locking fingers with Park Da-bong. They entered a test of brute strength, but after just 2.5 seconds, Park Da-bong was already breaking a sweat. The giant's strength caught him off guard. His body started to tremble. Suddenly snap, Park Da-bong collapsed to his knees. Just his luck, at the most critical moment. His back gave out. Zombies have no feelings. They do not play by martial arts rules. The giant hand was about to crush Park Da-bong. In the nick of time, a metal chain whipped through the air. The giant zombie was caught off guard, taking a brutal slap to the face. "Old man, I am here to save you." It was Zai Lin who had arrived, as neighbors. Seeing Zai Lin appear, both of them were shocked. "What are you staring at? Get out of here." Park Da-bong's friend finally snapped out of it. He helped Park Da-bong up and made for the door. The giant zombie let out a furious scream, throwing a heavy punch at Zai Lin. Zai Lin dodged with a graceful lean. Park Da-bong's anxious voice echoed from behind. "Run, Zai Lin. You are no match for that thing." Zai Lin gave a small smile. "Old man, you guys go first. My bike only seats 2 people. Park Da-bong was speechless. By now, even more zombies had swarmed in. Zai Lin tensed up, gripping the 5-chain whip. "Crap, there are way more of them than I thought. Can I keep this up?" Suddenly, the system notification chimed in his head. "A special character is impressed by you. You can now copy a skill from them." Looking back, the one impressed was none other than Park Da-bong, master of the Heavenly Demon Divine Art. Zai Lin's smirk slowly grew. "Haha, Heavenly Demon Divine Art. Finally, it is mine." The young man stood with hands out of pockets, unbothered by the threat, facing the incoming tide of zombies. Zai Lin flashed a twisted smile. "Skill, Heavenly Demon Divine Art. Activate." Zai Lin crosses his arms. Ground-piercing strike. Even those little zombies were left stunned by the sight. God's descent. Zai Lin plummeted into the ground like a cannonball. The giant zombie was crushed into the floor. The shockwave instantly wiped out all the other little ones. Park Da-bong and his companion were left speechless, their jaws dropping. System notification. Heavenly Demon Divine Art. Chapter 1 initiated. Zai Lin has only unlocked the first F-rank skill, and yet it unleashed such power. Such absolute power. There is no denying it, he is hacking. Passive skill, Heavenly Demon Mind Method, acquired. Passive effect, activated. You will feel the mana. Zai Lin gives a confused look. What is a mind method anyway? Only after opening his system interface did he realize. Mana is basically just MP. Holy smokes. Damn, is this a video game? Suddenly, a faint blue glow radiated from his palms. Is this how I activate my body? Looks like saving those 2 old geezers was the right call after all. The Heavenly Demon Divine Art sure lives up to its reputation. Zai Lin walks out of the room. "Old-timers, why have not you guys left yet?" However, just as those words left his lips, a giant zombie's roar erupted from behind. The look on his face is exactly like that third meme of yours. Zai Lin grins. "Since you are still alive, don't blame me for being ruthless." The 5-chain whip gathers momentum. Suddenly, the zombie's massive fist swings down. Zai Lin dodges the strike with a ground-piercing move. The ground shatters from the impact. He lands on his feet. Zai Lin does not even look back. "Old-timers, get to my place quickly." Professor Choi Loi is there too. The two knew that staying would just become a burden for Zai Lin. So, tearing up, they started the motorcycle. After the 2 old guys left, Zai Lin charges at the giant zombie, swinging his chain. A 5-chain strike. The giant zombie's head gets slammed by Zai Lin. But this strike did not finish it off. The giant zombie grabs out with a massive hand. The iron chain gets caught in its palm. It pulls with both arms. Snap. The 5-chain whip is broken in 2. Zai Lin's fury rages. "God damn it, that was my favorite weapon." 1 whip becomes 2. Zai Lin caresses the iron chains in his hands. "You big lug, do you have any idea? There is a price to pay for breaking other people's stuff. How about I give you a real beating today?" Facing the 2.5-meter tall zombie, the teenager just barely tapped into his power. And in an instant it was all over. Once the Heavenly Demon Mind Method was fully unlocked, Zai Lin was able to focus his demonic energy into his fists. The power of those fists, truly terrifying. The giant zombie is wiped out. A red gemstone pops from its forehead. Zai Lin picks it up. Red magic stone. Using it will increase level. Zai Lin smiles. This is some pure high-tech, hardcore survival right here. Returning home, he finds the 2 old guys safe and sound. Zai Lin finally exhaled. Those 2 old-timers were showering him with praise. In this day and age, stage, nobody would even dare to help someone up if they fell. Hard to believe Zai Lin would actually charge into a zombie horde to save them. Zai Lin felt a bit awkward from all the flattery. Do you seriously think I went out there for you? I was only after those skills you guys have. Suddenly, the system pinged with a notification. An expert is feeling favorable toward you. You may now acquire a skill from them. Impartable skill. Wooden structure. Zai Lin flashed a cheeky grin. Almost forgot about that. Old man Rong Chun is the village's legendary carpenter. After all, just then, Park Da-bong questioned how Zai Lin knew the heavenly demon divine art. Zai Lin did not hold back. He revealed he has a talent for absorbing others' abilities. That left the group completely baffled. Zai Lin called everyone out into the yard. Might as well give you guys a demonstration. Skill activated. Wooden structure. A massive deafening rumble echoed from all directions. It startled the hell out of them. Suddenly, the ground started shaking. Whoosh, boom. A 2.5-meter wooden pillar burst from the dirt. And that was just the beginning. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, rows of wooden pillars shot up like bamboo shoots after the rain. Even the entrance gate was perfectly framed. The barren yard had been transformed into a fortress. None were as stunned as old man Rongchun, his face frozen in utter disbelief. Even as a master carpenter himself, he had never seen such a parlor trick. The tactile sensation on his fingertips told him these were not just standard wood, but hard as iron bars. Skill execution complete. Zai Lin was drenched in sweat. See that? That is the ability I picked up from the old man. All thanks to the impartable skill. Park Da-bong had a sudden epiphany. At this moment, his heart was pounding with more than just shock, it was pure excitement. Finally, the heavenly demon divine art has a successor. You have to realize, for the past few decades, none of his disciples could even reach the entry-level stage. Only his granddaughter barely met the criteria. After 18 years of practice, his granddaughter, Yishu, through grueling training, finally had what it took to become the next successor. But compared to the kid right in front of him, let alone his granddaughter, he doubted even he himself could measure up. Looks like the hope for saving the world lies with him. Zai Lin had no idea what was going through Park Da-bong's head. Suddenly, the system warning alarm blared. Skill overuse. Mana depleted to 0. Zai Lin felt his whole body go weak, lightheaded and dizzy. Thud. Zai Lin collapsed. His mana was completely bottomed out, initiating forced rest. To recover mana. Outside the fences, zombies swarmed like a rising tide. Inside the fences, they were having a barbecue. In a world crawling with zombies, you are dead meat without a little cheat code. 7:30 in the morning. Zai Lin just opened his eyes. New cheats just got credited. Hidden quest complete. Rescued 3 experts in one night. System reward. Rescued 3 experts in one night. Skill acquired, quick construction rescued 3 experts in one night. Reward, analysis skill. Skill acquired, weaponry appraisal reward, analysis skill. Reward, analysis skill. Sweet, another glorious day. Ha! Looks like today's going to be a good one. Zai Lin ran a few quick tests and realized, analysis skill does not just work on people. It can also reveal the properties of objects. But I can't spam the skill. I already learned that the hard way yesterday. Run out of mana and you are out cold. In a world infested with zombies, falling asleep like that is basically a death sentence. The afternoon sun was blinding. Zai Lin pulled out the crimson demon stone he would picked up earlier. Choi Loi asked curiously what he was holding. Zai Lin told him it is a crimson demon stone. You can use it to buff everything, from people to gear. Then why are not you using it? Just staring at it. Zai Lin replied. He was just figuring out where to put it to the best use. With that, Zai Lin stood up and rolled out his bike. To find the best way to utilize the stone, Zai Lin had to go out and see the state of the world. Hammering the throttle all the way, and using his 5-chain whip to clear the path, Zai Lin soon arrived at a hillside. Suddenly, a distant explosion caught his attention. Zai Lin ditched the bike, and took a shortcut through the woods. At that moment, the army was setting up a defensive line on the road, but facing the overwhelming waves of zombies and mutants, their guns and cannons were not doing much. By the time Zai Lin arrived, the unit had been wiped out by the horde. Zai Lin looked worried. What was happening before his eyes had deviated from his dreams? The 5 mutant zombies from his dreams were now 10, and the big boss had shown up early, too. Zai Lin looked tense. He activated his analysis skill. Stalker. Special mutation. Trait, acute sense of smell. Looks like there is no sleeping soundly tonight. Zai Lin hopped on his bike and rushed back to the village. He had to get everything set up before nightfall. Otherwise, the zombies would overrun the village tonight. Zai Lin arrived at the riverside. He remembered clearly, there were some unused fireworks on a boat here. If he could just lure that massive zombie away, the rest of them would not be a problem. Upgrade +1 successful. A tiny dog chain, upgraded to max level by the man. To prevent the undead from invading the village, Zai Lin had pre-positioned the fireworks. Night fell. He reached the top of an abandoned building. He took out some lighter fluid and sprayed it all over himself. That giant zombie's sense of smell was way too sharp. He had to mask his scent. After all that, Zai Lin took out the Crimson Demon Stone. He laid his dog chain on the ground. Activated analysis skill. Old iron chain. No grade item. Zai Lin placed the Crimson Demon Stone onto the chain. Initiate upgrade. Yes. Zai Lin clicked confirm without a second thought. The next second, the tiny iron chain erupted in a blinding light. Upgrade success. Complete iron chain. F-grade item. Conductivity, 15%. Special ability, separation. Holding the shimmering chain in his hand, Zai Lin could not keep his eyes off it. Injected magic power. The chain seemed to come to life. But what does this special ability actually mean? Zai Lin tried to trigger it. A single iron chain suddenly split into two. Well damn, guess I just wasted an upgrade on nothing. But hey, at least the conductivity increased. The zombies had poured into the village entrance. Perfect timing. Zai Lin pulled out the fireworks remote. With a click of the button, the fireworks on the boat ignited. While the zombies were caught off guard, Zai Lin lunged forward, 5-chain whip in hand, choke hold with the iron chains. He put his weight into it. The zombie's head flew off like a rubber ball. The surrounding mobs snapped to attention. Launching a ranged assault, Zai Lin remained cold as ice. Wooden structure deployment. Two 2.5-meter wooden pillars erupted from the ground, blocking their attacks instantly. Right then, Zai Lin was like a baller, dunking relentlessly on the zombies' skulls. As soon as a red magic stone dropped, he used it on the shadow leash immediately. Meanwhile, Stark was drawn by the fireworks to the boat by the river. After realizing he would been played, he furiously flipped the boat over. Relying on his keen sense of smell, he tracked Zai Lin's location. Seeing the enemy charging at him, Zai Lin's eyes lit up. Finally, you are here. The red magic stone and shadow leash fused together. Upgrade complete. Perfect iron chain. Flaming iron chain. Weapon. Special ability. Fireworks. Crimson leashes swirled around Zai Lin's arms. Both arms synchronized. Fireworks activated. Hey, the party is just getting started. A tiny little chain, merely upgraded to +6, was enough to grant the lad the power of a fire fist. The mutant zombie did not even last a single round. After a few swipes, it spat out a glob of sticky webbing. Zai Lin tensed his arms. The fireworks skill on the chains triggered. Fire and web collided and melded together, instantly incinerating it. The flames burned brighter. Soon it had spread all over the zombie. Zai Lin gave a dismissive smirk. Just when he thought the thing would burn to death, the mutant zombie let out a sudden roar. Then, a bizarre scene unfolded. The small zombies that had died earlier started crawling back up, as if they had received a summon. They began swarming Zai Lin. Zai Lin grinned. Hey, you think you can trap me with these? You are really underestimating me. Fusing the iron chains into one, Zai Lin secretly built up the power of the 5-chain whip. The iron chain felt like it had been injected with life. He went wild, dunking on the heads of the small zombies. By now, the mutant zombie had broken free from the flames. Seeing the situation turning sour, he tried to make a run for it. Zai Lin gestured with a flick of his arm. The 5-chain whip activated instantly. The blood-red chain snapped around the mutant zombie's knees. Zai Lin crossed his hands and gave a mighty pull. Zombie lost both its legs. Flames engulfed its body. The mutant zombie let out a mournful screech and collapsed for good. Meanwhile, a blonde guy heard the commotion and rushed over to the scene. Seeing the mutant zombie get wiped out by Zai Lin, the blonde guy was left jaw-dropped in shock. Zai Lin held the magic stone and gave a slight smile. Dr. Kim, you have got some dirt on your mouth. Turns out this guy is Zai Lin's neighbor from the same village. He is also an expert in animal research. He pinched the red demon stone. Just as Zai Lin was about to explain everything to him, a strange green light suddenly appeared in the sky. Looking up, Zai Lin was stunned. A massive meteorite was hurtling straight toward them. Zai Lin yelled for Dr. Kim to run for his life. Hopping on the motorcycle, Zai Lin twisted the throttle all the way. What just went down was beyond anything in his wildest nightmares. What on earth was that? Zai Lin's mind was completely fixated on that meteorite. Suddenly, the bike slammed into a utility pole, and right at that moment, the meteorite was already directly overhead. A green meteorite. Talk about a chaotic entrance. Zai Lin was distracted and crashed into the pole. But luckily, the meteorite did not hit them directly. The green meteorite shattered into purple, rotting gore. It actually brought the dead zombies back to life. Zai Lin went on high alert. He activated his analyze skill, but the system panel just turned into gibberish. He had never seen anything like this in his life. He tried to take out a zombie with his 5-chain whip. The chains hit it, but it did not kill it. Even if he cut off its limbs, the rotting purple flesh would just force them to grow back. What exactly is this bizarre meteorite? Good thing the zombies can't step out of the purple zone. Otherwise, this show would be over today. And I would be out of a job. Seriously, series finale right here. Zai Lin did not have a clue what was going on. He just decided to take drive. Kim back home. Once they got home, Zai Lin told everyone what happened today. Even though everyone knew that being outside the fences was dangerous, they did not expect things to get this sticky. Zombies that won't die. A mysterious substance. They were basically stranded here. Even if the zombies did not attack them, their supplies would not last very long anyway. Then, drive. Kim stepped in with a suggestion. He had trained a flock of obedient crows at his home. He claimed if they brought them back, they could use them to scavenge for food. The group agreed it was a solid plan. But how to rescue the crows became the next headache. Zai Lin glanced at the red demon stone he had brought back. He remembered clearly. The red demon stone could be used on humans. In this post-apocalyptic world, having more superpowered people around would definitely be a huge plus. But are these three losers even useful? After a moment of thought, Zai Lin decided to let them test it out. Deep in the courtyard, Zai Lin handed each one a red demon stone. The moment they held the stone, an awaken prompt popped up before each of them. Zai Lin called them over and explained the deal. All four of them chose to awaken without a second thought. A red glow flashed by. Everyone started changing. Park Da-bong awakened to the heavenly demon divine art. Demon energy surged into his body. He looked like an athlete hitting his stride, but only 2.5 seconds later, Park Da-bong's lower back gave out completely. Well, there goes the first red demon stone. What a waste. The old man awakened to building crafting, but he is still a kid at heart. He actually used his skill to play with blocks. Damn it. That is another one wasted. Choi Loi awakened to mental soothing. I can see other people's emotional status cards, and I can even soothe them, making them feel all warm and fuzzy. Good grief, another useless skill. Now all that is left is Dr. Kim. I just hope his awakened ability is a real showstopper. In this apocalypse, you can be a support player, but you absolutely cannot be a deadweight. After some coaching from Zai Lin, the group finally found their niches. Old man Rong Chun is in charge of reinforcing the fences. Choi Loi is in charge of keeping Zai Lin's younger brother calm and cozy. Park Da-bong, that semi-cripple, has become Zai Lin's sparring partner. Among the three, the only one who can fight alongside Zai Lin is Dr. Kim. He awakened the ability to communicate with animals, and can even acquire their skills. Likewise, when Zai Lin earned his favor, he learned that same skill too. The two of them gained a gliding ability from his pet. With this power, they could fly over the zombie horde to rescue the crow. After 2.5 days of practice, they set off on their rescue mission. Arriving at the outskirts, Zai Lin activated his wooden construction skill. Huge wooden pillars burst from the ground, instantly catapulting the two into the sky. After locking onto drive, Kim's home, they took a leap of faith using their gliding skill. Looking down at the entire town, it was almost entirely covered by a purple zone. Thankfully, the building was not affected yet. Suddenly, drive. Kim gasped. Zai Lin followed his gaze. A chilling scene unfolded. Zombies were dragging corpses, piling them all together. The purple zone moved like a giant worm, swallowing them up and fusing them together. Not long after, a massive mutant zombie crawled out. The bloody, sickening sight made Zai Lin break into a cold sweat. Could it be that all these mutant zombies are created by this unknown purple organism? In the midst of his thoughts, the two landed at Drive Kim's house. Seeing his crow, Dr. Kim looked like he had found his own child. As the crow landed on the doctor, he immediately activated his communication skill. The next second, a pair of black wings sprouted from his back. How's my new ability? Do I look like a birdman? Zai Lin grinned. Sure, you look like a birdman through and through. With the crow retrieved, the two prepared to head back. By now, the zombies on the ground began to notice them, and all looked up. The two flyers did not think much of it. But the next second, the zombies reached out toward them. Rotten flesh began to squirm, and with a swish, spider-like webs shot toward them. Zai Lin's heart skipped a beat. He unleashed his 5-chain whip in an instant, and his gliding ability dissipated at that very moment. Dr. Kim tried to rush forward to help, but Zai Lin stopped him immediately. Dr. Kim, get out of here first. Otherwise, neither of us will make it out. One whip to destroy. That man returns from the battlefield. The iron chain wrapped in scorching flames lashed out at the zombie swarm. Everything in its path shattered. Zai Lin descended from the heavens, determined to add a spicy dish to everyone's New Year's feast. System activation, initiate. As human bombs fall into the zombie horde, the destructive shockwaves ripple through them. Suddenly, a low growl comes from behind. Zai Lin turns to look. A giant mutant zombie approaches, wielding a massive hammer. He unleashes his whip like a furious dragon. But after just one strike, Zai Lin's hands go numb. He had not expected the enemy to have such impressive defense. Meanwhile, the smaller zombies behind it, empowered by the purple corruption corruption, rise again. Jae-rin frowns. Dragging this out is only going to work against me. He leaps over the wall in one swift motion, planning to strike from above. However, right then, the mutant zombie's hands are wrapped in purple corruption. Under its influence, the mutant undergoes another transformation. Its weapon merges with its arm, forming a massive cannon. The monster then grabs a small zombie and stuffs it into the cannon. Bang! The small zombie fires like a projectile, straight at Jae-rin. Jae-rin reacts just in time, flipping out of the way instantly. The explosion behind him sends a jolt through his heart. Time. Jae-rin's got no intention of fighting this out. With my current stats, running is the only play. Finally, by dusk, Jae-rin loses the pursuer and ducks into a building. Just as he is worried about how to get home, he spots a rather odd-looking house. Everything around it is spotless. It is like the purple corruption is afraid to go near it. Jae-rin decides to check it out. Reaching the door, Jae-rin hears a very peculiar sound. Under the influence of the frequency, the purple corruption keeps writhing. Looks like this sound is what is keeping them at bay. Suddenly, Jae-rin spots someone inside the house. The guy looks terrified, eyes glued to his progress. Jae-rin hits him with a mental calming effect, settling his nerves down. Entering the room, the man introduces himself to Jae-rin. His name is Lu Dongjo, a producer who does it all. He likes to rap and dance in his free time. Jae-rin asks him, "Why is there always a buzzing sound in your place?" Lu Dongjo is completely stunned. He tells Jae-rin, "It is just a low-frequency sound I set up. I found out by accident that the zombies hate getting near it. Supposedly, it is outside the range of human hearing." Jae-rin does not bother explaining. Right now, his mind is purely on how to steal that skill. If I can turn that sound into a skill, maybe I can finally take down that mutant. If a piercing sound can make them back off, my guy here might just be the winner. After finding out Lu Dongjo is a professional producer, Jae-rin decides to invite him to his camp, mostly to get his hands on that expert skill. Sure enough, mentioning that his base has a barbecue pit instantly earns him some goodwill. Jae-rin successfully learns the audio effects skill. He can expend mana to imbue objects with sound. Jae-rin decides to try it on his iron chain. The 5-chain whip instantly upgrades to a thundercracker. The sound-imbued chain is way more devastating. With this, Jae-rin is confident he can wreck that mutant. Just then, a stray cat pops up. Looks like the poor thing's been hungry for a while. Lu Dongjo, being the softie he is, feeds it some cat treats. Jae-rin walks up and pets the animal. Suddenly, the animal communication skill triggers. You will be getting the stray cat's special ability, glide, and gain some serious agility. Jae-rin felt like he would just laced up a pair of pro sneakers. His entire body felt light as a feather. Gave it a test run. Damn, that is powerful. With this skill, taking out mutated zombies just got a lot easier. Jae-rin told Choi Loi to wait at home. He headed straight into the purple zone. Agile moves paired with the lash skill. Jae-rin was like a chicken on a basketball court. He went full berserk in the middle of the swarm. The lash came down on the zombies like a hammer. No more situations where their skulls were too tough to crack. Before long, the small fries turned into sparkling red demon stones. Jae-rin had not even had a chance to pick them up when massive tentacles suddenly burst out from behind him. The tentacles lunged right toward Jae-rin. 5-chain whip, activate. Jae-rin swung his lash instinctively. The tentacles were sliced in half. Some mysterious fluid sprayed everywhere. That move instantly drew in even more little fries. Jae-rin leapt onto the wall. He flashed an impossibly twisted grin. Hey, aren't these just walking treasure chests? One kill, one loot. With his hacks enabled, Jae-rin went on a crazed harvest in the swarm. Red demon stones littered the ground. That put him in a damn good mood. Just then, 0K. The system popped up a notification. Hunt 10 of the world's first batch infected. Reward 10 kg1 dagger in the inventory. A small fabric pouch appeared out of thin air. Jae-rin curiously grabbed it. Is this little thing supposed to be an inventory? Suddenly, the bag took flight. The bag just flew off. It started vacuuming up all the red demon stones automatically. In no time, the ground was picked clean. Jae-rin looked hyped. Hey, now I can speed up the delivery. Enhancement successful. Flame Iron Chain has evolved into Azure Flame Iron Chain. Special ability added, Azure Flame Dragon. Even Jae-rin had not expected. A tiny demon stone to pack enough punch to rival a 3-flavored treat. Just as Jae-rin finished off the small fry zombies, a mutated brute came knocking. Facing the giant that once made him its lunch, Jae-rin took out the orange demon stone he would snagged earlier. This stone was packed with massive power. It can upgrade weapons. Jae-rin chose to upgrade without a second thought. The chain, originally reddish, turned azure. The mutated zombie's hard-as-rock cannon mouth was already aimed at Jae-rin. Boom. The zombie fired a cannonball. Jae-rin's gaze sharpened. The azure flame dragon on the chain triggered instantly. A ghostly dragon's head, teeth bared, appeared over the iron chain. Zai Lin charged in, lash at the ready. The azure dragon followed his every move. Lash whipped, dragon struck. The zombie touched the dragon and vaporized instantly. The mutated zombie could not believe it. The massive dragon maw, full of jagged teeth, came straight for it. The mutated brute let out a blood-curdling wail. Both arms gone. Slime splattered everywhere. Zai Lin held a cold stare. The azure flame dragon's explosive effect was top-notch, but the speed still was not quite where he wanted it. Zai Lin pushed off with his feet. Agile body skill, activate. Man and lash as one. The lash struck like a dragon. The mutated brute was already covered in scars. Suddenly, he let out a furious roar. A purple contamination source began gathering toward him. In the blink of an eye, the mutant zombie's lost arms started reforming. Whoosh! His arms morphed into sharp blades. Even his skull bloomed like a flowering chrysanthemum. The mutant zombie charged at Zai Lin, claws and teeth bared. Even with the 5-chain whip protecting him, Zai Lin sensed a major crisis. The bastard's speed was clearly much faster than before. He quickly put some distance between them. Zai Lin swung his massive whip. Meanwhile, a guy with a super sketchy look was watching Zai Lin from a distance. Seeing Zai Lin take down a mutant zombie all by himself, his beady, crafty eyes rolled for 2.5 turns. Zai Lin had no clue someone was eyeing him. After tucking away the magic stone, Zai Lin received a system prompt, domain declared 1. Shocking achievement, domain declared 1. Shocking achievement, domain declared 1. Shocking achievement, domain declared 1. Shocking achievement. Reward, domain declared. You can now declare your own domain. Allies within your domain gain special skills. Guess I will have to wait until I am back at camp to confirm this. Just then, that guy watching Zai Lin walked over. Upon seeing him, Zai Lin's heart gave a violent jolt. He remembered it clearly. In his own nightmare, this guy was a psychopathic maniac who lived for murder. This was the most exciting day since the apocalypse began. The man who killed him 1,000 times in his dreams finally showed up. Zai Lin smiled slightly and activated his analysis skill. The 3 people who arrived were all magic stone extractors. That made Zai Lin feel a bit weird. Can you actually get magic stones by killing humans? Before Zai Lin could react, Park Da-bong greeted him first. He made it clear he had just witnessed Zai Lin's strength. He wanted to invite him to join their camp. Zai Lin was a bit suspicious. You guys have a camp too, and you are all awakeners. Park Da-bong said not exactly, but their camp actually has a chef. They can eat all sorts of things you can't find in the apocalypse. No sooner had Park Da-bong finished his sentence, the ground suddenly began to tremble. Everyone had a look of terror. Suddenly, a warning box popped up in front of Zai Lin. Before Zai Lin could even react, several giant tentacles burst out from the ground. Then, those zombies he had finished off grew back their bodies and surrounded them. Park Da-bong took out a dagger and gestured. His camp was nearby. He hoped Zai Lin would go back with him first. Zai Lin flicked his whip. A cold smirk formed in his heart. Since it is like this, I will play along with you guys. But this time, you are the ones who are gonna die. Following the trio, Zai Lin cut his way through. The strength Zai Lin displayed soon made Park Da-bong feel a sense of crisis. But what worried him more was, the zombies were growing more and more numerous. If they went on like this, he would be done for right here. Quietly, he activated his own skill. Terror. The next second, a massive shockwave of aura erupted from his back. The surrounding zombies were instantly stunned by this pressure. Park Da-bong held his dagger and easily cleaned house. The sausage-mouth guy and old white hair immediately shouted, badass. Zai Lin quietly watched all of this. So his skill is terror. Looks like before I kill him, I have got to get my hands on that skill somehow. Before long, everyone fled to Park Da-bong's base. Park Da-bong told Zai Lin that they had another companion, though he was not quite right in the head, so they kept him tied up. Zai Lin chuckled to himself. These idiots really think I am a fool. Heading into the dark room, Zai Lin spotted the man tied up. Activating analysis skill. Zai Lin was stunned. Level 0 human. Doesn't look like he has a magic stone. Was he just snatched by mistake? Zai Lin said calmly. He must be good for something. Otherwise, you guys would have finished him off, right? As soon as he spoke, everyone was struck with shock. What do you mean by that? Zai Lin flashed a grin. What a shame. A magic stone is still a magic stone, no matter what. Hearing this, Park Da-bong could not hold back anymore. He burst into laughter. It is a small world, is not it? Never thought I would run into one of my own kind here. Honestly, I was planning to take you out, but I can't bring myself to harm a comrade who truly understands me. Mr. Zai Lin, I am officially inviting you to join me. Do you want to team up? Zai Lin shook his hand. Being your comrade is an absolute honor. Right at that moment, a system notification sound rang out. The expert has a high affinity with you. You have gained a terror skill. Hey Park Da-bong, I will make good use of your skills. This guy is a born snake. In the apocalypse, when you meet an enemy, you do not just rush for revenge. You build affinity, then learn their skills. Zai Lin just got the terror skill, and 3 cute tasty snacks appeared in the room. Park Da-bong narrowed his shifty little eyes. He ordered them to charge out immediately. Using his terror skill, Park Da-bong quickly disposed of the 3 mutant zombies. Too bad. It is hard to guard against a snake. Just as they reached the door, Zai Lin, standing at the back, started charging his power. Wooden structure skill, activate. Several thick tree trunks burst from the ground, trapping Park Da-bong and his 2 cronies outside. Realizing what happened, Park Da-bong panicked, frantically stabbing the wood with his knife. But it was totally useless. By then, the zombies had swarmed them. White hair and sausage lips met an unextraordinary end. Zai Lin thanked the 2 brothers for their sacrifice. He thought he could use them to distract the zombies and make his escape, but he had not taken more than a few steps before he found even more zombies surrounding him. Park Da-bong was grabbed by a zombie. He was not going to die like this. Even if he became a zombie, he would have his revenge. He desperately tore a piece of rotting flesh from the zombie and swallowed it without a second of hesitation. Meanwhile, Zai Lin returned to the room to find Chung Ha-min. After untying him, Zai Lin performed a mental soothing technique. He told him he was here to save him, and handed him a red magic stone. Even though Chung Ha-min was a weakling, he knew what the red magic stone was for. Could the man in front of him be another collector, just like that perverted killer? But after looking closely, he realized what the stone Zai Lin gave him actually was. Unlike Park Hyeon-seong's version, Zai Lin tells him, this thing dropped from a zombie. With this, any ordinary person can become an awakened. The man grabs the magic stone. A second later, his entire body is engulfed in a red glow. Zai Lin excitedly steps forward to ask what skill he gained. Seong Ha-min reveals he has learned a cooking skill, which can give food special effects. Zai Lin is thrilled. He tells him to hurry up and find some ingredients to practice with. After Seong Ha-min leaves, Zai Lin places the remaining magic stone on the ground. Now, if I want to ditch this deadweight Seong Ha-min, I must strengthen my skills. Zai Lin picks up the yellow magic stone. Select Strengthen Transmit skill. A dazzling golden light flashes by. Strengthening complete. Main skill strengthen. Mana cap increased. Skill levels can be improved through guidance from the transmitter. Can now precognitively analyze target actions. Hot damn, 1 skill, and I am suddenly a well-rounded warrior. Just then, a mouth-watering aroma hits him. He turns around to look. It is the food Seong Ha-min prepared. A bowl of jjajangmyeon that looks absolutely appetizing. Zai Lin digs in without standing on ceremony. Suddenly, the system pings. You have consumed expert-grade delicious jjajangmyeon. Ability increased by 20% for 3 hours. Zai Lin's eyes glint. Haha, with this, we can get out of here easily. Zai Lin ate a bowl of jjajangmyeon and leveled up for 3 hours. Meanwhile, Park Hyeon-seong ate a piece of zombie meat and immediately grew 3 heads. Just now, Zai Lin decides to escape through the sewers. With 1 lash, the world shakes and cracks. Both of them jump into the sewer. However, they have not even gone 2.5 meters when a violent tremor hits the sewer. The cracks on the wall keep growing bigger. With a shrill sound, an unknown object breaks in. Zai Lin tenses up. The entity invading is none other than the zombie meat-eating Park Hyeon-seong. Holy hell, where did he get 3 heads and 6 arms? Zai Lin activates the analysis skill. Name, mutant hand. Type, infected awakened. Attribute, flash step. Killer sword. 3 heads. Terrifying. But the even weirder thing is, he actually still has self-awareness. After mocking Zai Lin, Park Hyeon-seong triggers his terror skill. Zai Lin casts mental soothing to dispel the fear. The iron chain snaps in 2. Zai Lin fires up 3 skills simultaneously. He charges forward, while shouting for Seong Ha-min to fall back to the room, closing in on the target in an instant. Zai Lin activates his precognition skill. With this skill's buff, Park Hyeon-seong's movements look 100 times slower. After a brief clash, Park Hyeon-seong starts to feel the pressure. He silently triggers his terror skill again, and right at that moment, Zai Lin receives a system notify. Observing the transmitter's perfect demonstration. Terror comprehension 32%. Reaching 100% will trigger the next level. Zai Lin is still in shock. Precognition activated early. Not good. He is trying to attack me from behind. Zai Lin snapped his head around. He unleashed a flurry of strikes at his target. Of the 3 heads, he took out 2.5. Park Da-bong was caught completely off guard. Utterly pathetic. He never imagined his own attack would be predicted by the guy. 2 of the 3 heads were already looking to bail. Frustrated, Park Da-bong did not hesitate to sacrifice his teammates. He wolfed down their skulls. This freakish behavior completely shattered Zai Lin's worldview. As he watched in horror, Park Da-bong's body shifted again. His eye merged into one. His frame became even more agile. A massive maw lined with serrated teeth let out a low growl. Terrifying skill activated. Observing the master's perfect demonstration. Understanding level at 83%. Zai Lin cracked a smirk. Talk about a godsend. Park Da-bong lunged with a piercing strike. Zai Lin blocked every single one with pure anticipation. Finally, understanding of the terrifying skill hit 100%. Zai Lin's pupils glowed yellow. Activated. An overwhelming pressure surged forward. Park Da-bong looked stunned, but before he could even process it, Zai Lin's focused punch landed right in front of him. His fist slammed into the head like a savage dunk. Park Da-bong's face was completely smashed in. Jae Rin was not playing in his league anymore. He stared at him with pure terror. He did not even notice. An iron chain had already wrapped around his arm. Breaking one arm alone popped out a yellow magic stone. Park Da-bong's reaction was fast. He ripped his arm off and immediately bolted. Jae Rin did not feel like chasing him down. He spotted the glowing stone under the limb. After picking it up, Jae Rin went back to find Seong Min. The pair made their way through the sewers to Dong Wook's doorstep. Seeing Jae Rin back, Dong Wook was visibly ecstatic. Jae Rin gave him a brief introduction to Seong Min, mentioning he was heading back out to slay some zombies, hoping he could lay low for a bit. This gesture also earned him some points with Seong Min. Jae Rin successfully learned the cooking skill. He tried mixing cocktails with soda, accidentally whipped up an awakening drink. Actually, it was an accident, but an awakening drink nonetheless. Meanwhile, a fleeing Park Da-bong was busy hunting zombies on the street. Unlike Jae Rin, he was devouring them to heal his wounds. Just as his arm was beginning to recover, a wave of pressure hit him. The zombies behind him all dropped to their knees. A woman with wings appeared, not too far off. She radiated a dark, alluring energy. The second his eyes landed on her, Park Da-bong could not stop himself from trembling. He slowly started to kneel. The power she exuded was out of his league. Even the strongest overlords in the purple zone were no match for her. The woman walked toward the swarm of zombies step by step. More and more zombies collapsed. The woman's tail, like a blooming carnivorous flower, suddenly slammed into the ground. Within 2.5 seconds, a fissure cracked open. A giant mouth filled with fangs burst from the depths. Small pickings, including Park Da-bong and his swarm. They were not even enough for a single bite. Suddenly, the giant jaws snapped shut. The zombies were swallowed whole. The massive mouth writhed, emitting the sound of chewing. Then, a giant eye opened on the back of the beast's head. He stared at the woman, speaking with deep reverence. "All hail the queen. Please devour us and make yourself complete." And this woman was none other than Park Da-bong's granddaughter, the 24th successor of the heavenly demon divine art, Park Yiseo, a beautiful woman, who even turned into a zombie queen. Park Da-bong's granddaughter, Park Yiseo, not only inherited her grandfather's true techniques, but also successfully dodged his genetic fate. She stood up against the strong to protect the weak, inheriting her grandfather's heavenly demon dojo. She commanded countless disciples. After the zombie outbreak, she led her disciples to crush the undead. She toyed with the crowd until only 5 remained. The day the green meteorite fell, she was in the courtyard training her disciples, and that meteorite just had to land right in her yard. The purple contamination instantly turned the disciples into zombies. Park Yiseo was the last one to be struck. Unlike the others, she immediately mutated, growing a pair of wings, and soon her consciousness was hijacked. Countless zombie snacks were devoured by her. No, that big-eyed freak has given her another meal. Park Yiseo's strength has surged once again. Meanwhile, once Jae Rin stepped into the purple zone, he realized all the zombies had stopped moving. He was still puzzled, still trying to figure out the skill. The system sent an alert. Park Hyeon-seong has been wiped out. Park Hyeon-seong has failed. The ability is non-refundable. Before he could grasp the situation, the zombies nearby started dissolving. The purple corruption was also slowly fading away. The system prompt sounded again. Urgent quest activated. Stop the queen from completing her resurrection. Jae Rin was stunned. Just then, the yellow-haired guy rushed over. He yelled in a panic, "It is bad, Jae Rin." Yiseo turned into a monster. Jae Rin frowned deeply. Talk about a total clusterfuck. What a disaster. Park Da-bong came rushing over in a panic, too. He had just gotten word that his granddaughter had turned from the yellow-haired kid. He heard his granddaughter was inside the purple zone. Without a second thought, he charged in. Jae Rin, worried the old man would not make it, told the yellow-haired guy to bring the news home, while he himself gave chase. The moment the two entered the purple zone, they were paralyzed by the scene before them. A massive cocoon was floating in mid-air, and Park Da-bong's granddaughter was so wrapped up that only her face was visible. Jae Rin activated his analysis skill. Park Yiseo, the queen seed, currently absorbing energy. Once the queen is revived, she will never turn back into a human. The massive cocoon kept squirming. Its tentacles were endlessly leaching life force from the zombies. Jae Rin warned Park Da-bong, "If you want to save your granddaughter, you have to cut those tentacles right now." Jae Rin swung his whip and lunged in, but after one strike, the cocoon's durability only dropped by 0.5%. G9.5 cocoon durability dropped by 0.5%. Cocoon durability dropped by 0.5%. Jae Rin wore a look of shock. Even he did not expect this thing to be this sturdy. Park Da-bong began channeling his magic power. Jae Rin, keep your eyes peeled. I will only use this move once. You better learn it. Heavenly Demon Divine Art. Da-bong's fist. Never underestimate a bald guy's strength. The punch Park Da-bong landed, fully charged with magic, had incredible penetration. The power of a single punch. Total devastation. One of the worm's tentacles was torn to shreds instantly. That one punch knocked the worm's durability down by 88.9%. As Jae Rin was shocked. He seemed to have caught on. Park Da-bong's fist and his audio system skill were very similar. Jae Rin told Park Da-bong to take a breather. The double whips coiled around his arms. Jae Rin activated his audio system skill. He rushed at the worm and threw a fierce punch. Terrifying power in one strike. Several of the worm's tentacles snapped instantly. Park Da-bong was completely stunned. This kid really does not go easy on himself, does he? I have learned the move. Jae Rin switched into full-blown burst mode. In no time at all, the worm's durability dropped to 47.5%. The emergency quest was also marked as complete at that moment. Reward 1 domain strengthening privilege. Suddenly, the worm surged up over their heads. Before the two could even react, the worm had already slammed into the ground. The worm's midsection was already split open. Park Yeseo slowly stepped out from within. The queen's resurrection is highly unstable. Initiating emergency quest. Suppress the queen. Park Yeseo's eyes shot open. An overwhelming aura of raw bloodlust washed over them. Jae Rin felt an immense sense of crisis. The system blared an escape warning at that very moment. After activating precognition, Jae Rin grabbed Park Da-bong and threw him hard. He knew it clearly. If he did not throw Park Da-bong away, he would not be able to survive this. The moment he tossed Park Da-bong away, Jae Rin felt a wave of intense danger. Park Yeseo lunged toward him at high speed. Jae Rin activated his foresight skill. Every trajectory of the enemy's attacks became clearly visible. He parried her moves with ease. Wait for the right opening. At the same time, Jae Rin unleashed his terror, combining the audio and blue flame dragon skills. Throw the punch. Blue dragon appearance. However, after the blow, Park Yeseo was completely unscathed. Jae Rin's brow furrowed. The next second, the enemy just flicked her leg. Jae Rin was sent flying like a cannonball. Even before he could peel himself off the rocks, Park Yeseo was already standing right in front of him. Jae Rin activated Structure of Wood to trap her. He turned around and ran. At this point, he felt that his declare territory skill was useless. Just gotta make it back to camp. Might still have a chance to turn things around. However, he was still 2 steps away from the camp. Park Yeseo had already broken free from the wooden structure. Sharp spikes came flying toward Jae Rin. In a split second of life or death, Jae Rin roared. Skill activated. Declare territory. The camp was instantly enveloped in a protective shield. Park Yeseo's attack missed by a hair's breadth. Jae Rin had safely entered the territory. Activating enhanced territory management mode. Select combatants. The fewer, the easier to manage. The fewer, the stronger the buff. The more effect. Staring at the interface, Jae Rin shouts decisively. Just one combatant. Just me. Activating enhanced domain. Fewer people. Stronger effect. The strength of the other 4 gathers within Jae Rin. The pushover from before is standing tall again. Everyone, get back. Next up, I am taking on Yeseo. In this moment, the domain's shield has been torn apart by Yeseo. Jae Rin raises one hand. Activate fusion skill. King's step and wooden construction merge instantly into a giant wooden leg. The stomping attack descends upon Yeseo. The spikes on his back burst out, desperately blocking the giant foot from crushing him. The shockwaves shatter the ground. Yeseo also feels the crushing pressure. Suddenly, his spikes transform into suckers, violently sucking the energy from Jae Rin's leg. The rock-hard wooden giant leg starts to crack. With a bang, it shatters into fragments. Yeseo is brimming with energy now. But then, shock appears in his eyes. Jae Rin is floating in midair. Fingers spread wide, a palm attack descends directly on Yeseo. This move, Jae Rin pours all his power into that giant hand. The hand has not arrived yet, but the pressure is already here. The overwhelming force makes it hard for Yeseo to even open his eyes. He instinctively fires his back spikes at Jae Rin. Jae Rin lets out a roar. The iron chains on his fists radiate a blinding blue glow. Heavenly Demon Divine Art. Second form. Fierce Tiger's Wild Dance. Fists slamming down like a basketball frenzy. Where it passes, everything is utterly crushed. That is not all. Jae Rin summons Chicken Bro from above. Chicken Bro tangles up Yeseo's spikes and tail. Jae Rin's charged punch strikes Yeseo without any resistance. The power of a single punch. Feathers flying everywhere. That should be enough to suppress him, right? Suddenly, a blinding light erupts from Yeseo's chest. In a flicker of red light, Yeseo appears right in front of Jae Rin. Jae Rin initiates the analysis skill. Core. Durability 88%. Total destruction is the only way to suppress the queen. Holy hell, the fight has only just begun. Yiseo lashes out with a whip kick toward Zai Lin. Using the prediction skill, Zai Lin sees his armor shattered to pieces. He braces himself with extreme caution. Suddenly, Yiseo executes a powerful, wide-range leg technique. Needless to say, the skin is definitely ripped open. Whip kick incoming. The veins on Yiseo's face bulge, but the leg does not land on Zai Lin. At the critical moment, he uses wooden construction to tangle him up. Grabbing hold of his lower leg, Zai Lin swings him with all his might. That slam leaves Yiseo seeing stars, the juices from the dumpling leaking out. The chain-wrapped fist comes attacking again, but this time, Yiseo blinks and dodges under the fist, trading blow for blow. They are locked in a dead-even fight. Every collision crackled like a whip snapping. Listening to the sounds outside, Park Da-bong inside the camp looked tense. His granddaughter was the only family he had left. She was the apple of his eye. Park Da-bong frowned deeply, silently reciting the inner techniques of the 8th chapter of the Heavenly Demon Divine Art. To save his granddaughter, this time, he would not hesitate, even if it cost him his life. Heavenly Demon Divine Art, 8th form. The price is his own life, unleashing the full potential of his entire body. Once activated, it is overwhelmingly powerful and plays dirty. With a death-defying resolve, Park Da-bong launched the 8th form and charged in. Yishu, still locked in battle with Zai Lin, was caught off guard. He was kicked right in the arms. Click. Cracks appeared on the purple core at his chest. Park Da-bong channeled all his strength, standing right in front of Zai Lin. Kid, watch closely. This is the true Heavenly Demon Divine Art. Ghostly images of fierce tigers intertwined. Zai Lin stared at them without blinking, observing the perfect performance. Understanding level, 100%. Heavenly Demon Divine Art, 2nd chapter unlocked. Park Da-bong rushed toward Yishu, dodging the razor-sharp claws. He delivered a strike with intent. Yishu's entire body was sent flying backward, but immediately he lunged back to surround Park Da-bong with his blades. Park Da-bong's eyes blazed with fury, utterly livid. He did not even look at the surrounding blades, soaring directly into mid-air, executing a wide sweeping leg technique. Yishu sensed the looming danger. He deployed a mana shield for defense. A whip-like kick slammed into it. Yishu was shot toward the ground like a cannonball. Cracks spider-webbed across the shield. Without waiting for a breather, Park Da-bong descended from above. Fists rained down like droplets in a storm. Crack. The shield shattered. Park Da-bong's fist aimed straight for Yishu's face. Yishu blocked with his blades, but Park Da-bong grabbed both of his hands directly, channeling all his power to the crown of his head. Park Da-bong chose a headbutt to break through. His rock-hard skull slammed into the core. A crack appeared immediately. Ginger really is spicier with age. Yishu was utterly humiliated by that headbutt. He glared viciously at his grandfather. Slowly, he raised his right hand. Whoosh! A giant maw suddenly erupted from the ground. The massive mouth swallowed Park Da-bong whole. Anyone who blocks my path deserves to die. Park Da-bong made a final, desperate play. He clenched his fist tight, landing a heavy strike directly on the target's uvula, shattering the giant maw with a single punch. But just then, Yishu was already hovering over his head. Caught off guard, Park Da-bong was kicked away. Yishu followed closely, unleashing a frantic assault on his grandfather. Zai Lin rushed forward in panic to intercept and save him. But Yishu's speed was even faster now, and his strength significantly greater. Park Da-bong was knocked down with a single blow. Zai Lin was sent flying back as well. Yishu grabbed his grandfather by the neck. His blades morphed into a massive cleaver. Perhaps sensing his own death, Park Da-bong wanted to touch his granddaughter one last time. But just that simple touch caused cracks to appear in Yishu's sealed memories. His head began to throb in agony, almost going off the rails. Park Da-bong seized the opening to channel his energy, ignoring her granddaughter's attacks. He slammed a palm straight into the core. That blow poured out every ounce of Park Da-bong's mana and strength. Following the impact, the core cracked and webbed with fissures. Park Da-bong gasped for air. Zai Lin, it is all yours now. Taking the cue, Zai Lin lunged in and delivered another punch. With a snap, the core shattered. Mission accomplished. The queen has been suppressed. Upon seeing that notification, Zai Lin could no longer hold on. The exhaustion from overusing his skills knocked him out cold. But before closing his eyes, he saw that Park Da-bong seemed to have lost his vital signs. The man slept for a month, waking up to find he would gain synthesis skills, special ability. Waking up to find he would gain synthesis skills, special ability. Waking up to find he would gain synthesis skills, special ability. Waking up to find he would gain synthesis skills, special ability. FVO, after successfully suppressing the zombie queen. After successfully suppressing the queen with full force. After successfully suppressing the queen with an ultimate move. Zai Lin was in a coma for a month. Even the catheter was fitted by Choi Loi himself. Within this past month, the camp had undergone massive changes. That small house had actually turned into a town. Choi Loi brought a doctor over to provide treatment. After some friendly interaction, Jae-rin obtained the other party's skill. Just then, Choi Loi explained to Jae-rin. During this time, they had taken in many survivors, and also awakened several experts. Back when Jae-rin cleared the purple zone, many demon stones were left behind uncollected, and were discovered by the patrols. Mid-conversation, Choi Loi led Jae-rin to the ward where Park Da-bong and Yi Seo were. The situation for both was not looking great. Park Da-bong's spine was shattered. Even if he woke up, he would be half paralyzed, and while his granddaughter was physically sound, she remained in a deep unconscious stupor. Choi Loi used mental stabilization to guide Jae-rin into Yi Seo's inner world. He told Jae-rin he had been here before using his skills, but he could never break through the black sphere in front of them. Jae-rin activated his analysis skill and discovered this was Yi Seo's defensive barrier built from total despair. Jae-rin tried merging his mental stabilization and terror skills, temporarily generating a pressure skill. He unleashed the pressure onto the barrier, with lightning power flooding the sphere. In just 2.5 seconds, a crack wide enough for a person appeared. Jae-rin told Choi Loi to wait for him outside, and crawled into the gap himself. Yi Seo's inner world was swarming with zombies. All of them turned from her students, even her own grandfather among them. These people had become her inner trauma. Once Jae-rin entered, he used his analysis skill to identify the problems, and combined with mental stabilization, Jae-rin successfully helped her overcome the trauma. Yi Seo's consciousness was brought back. At the same time, her grandfather also revived after watching the commercial. Everything back to normal. Looking at the thriving community, Jae-rin could not help but wonder how Choi Loi and the others managed it. Choi Loi explained to him they would discover demon stones could strengthen items, and many of the stones they scavenged went into construction. The community's generator is a great example. Hearing that, Jae-rin decided to go see for himself, and promised to bring back more demon stones when he returned. Just as Jae-rin was getting up, I am hearing Yishu's voice. Jae-rin, take me with you. I am a pro at skull-crushing these zombies. A duo, huh? Work won't be that tough. Taking Yishu to whack some small fries. Jae-rin did not even have to lift a finger. As the 24th successor of the heavenly demon divine art, Yishu was handling everything with ease. Every lethal strike from those long legs just kept the loot pouring in. In just a blink, small fry zombies turned into shiny red magic stones. Let us collect the spoils. The duo pushed forward. Suddenly, some writing on the wall caught their eye. Shield symbol, Dreamland. Let us head south to find the shield base. The plot is basically straight out of The Walking Dead. As for this shield outfit, Jae-rin had looked into them countless times in his dreams. They actually started out as the good guys. A famous actor gathered a lot of people using his local fame. They fought back against zombies to protect civilians. But as their numbers grew, human nature started to twist. The shield organization developed a hierarchy. Those without powers were treated like slaves. Those who were not useful were sent to labs for zombie virus research. More than the zombies, these guys were the real scum. Looking at the wall, Jae-rin got an idea. He told Yishu about their twisted deeds, and they decided to check it out. After clearing out a wave of zombies, Jae-rin's pile of magic stones grew even bigger. He tried upgrading his motorcycle. Turns out, it leveled up instantly, and he even unlocked an invisibility skill. The two used the invisibility effect to infiltrate the shield base. Once inside, Jae-rin noticed Shield's PR director Kim Hung-sik was giving a speech, rallying people to join them. Jae-rin activated his analysis skill. Kim Hung-sik, human magic stone extractor, hybrid life form. Jae-rin felt a flicker of doubt. A hybrid life form, first time seeing one of those. Looks like there is more fishy business here than I thought. Jae-rin decided to blend in first and gather some intel. Cut to a forest area. Shield's armed unit was locked in a brutal fight with zombies. Too bad they were incompetent. Too bad they are trash, honestly. Just when they were about to get wiped out, Jae-rin and Yishu showed up. They saved the day with a lightning-fast strike, claiming they only came because they saw the sign on the wall. Meanwhile, after getting the report, Kim Hung-sik decided to meet them. From his underlings, he learned that Jae-rin and Yishu were incredibly powerful awakened. Kim Hung-sik wanted to recruit them, but what he did not know was, the ones he was trying to recruit were not just soldiers. They were bringers of death-wielding blades. I will just say this, everyone here is a little kid. To me, once Jae-rin met Kim Hung-sik, he expressed interest in joining S.H.I.E.L.D. Kim Hung-sik did not refuse. He offered him a spot in the self-defense squad, but Jae-rin shook his head and refused. He said he only joined S.H.I.E.L.D. to protect civilians, not to kiss up to the higher-ups. Kim Hung-sik said he could arrange for him to join the third squad. They are all awakened there. Who knew Yishu would just bluntly say, they do not look up to those other awakened. They did not want to team up with just anyone. The remark instantly enraged the two lackeys behind Kim Hung-sik. Never seen a woman so arrogant. The two were about to snap, but a single look from Kim Hung-sik stopped them. On the surface, he agreed to Zai Lin's request. Let the two of them form a special unit. But behind their backs, he secretly arranged for other awakened squads to teach them a lesson. Too bad he picked the wrong targets. Just as the two arrived at the training ground, those two punks and their lackeys swarmed them. Zai Lin just smirked. Easy now, boys, do not get worked up. It was just a slip of the tongue earlier. The punk looked at him with nothing but disdain. Giving up already? No, that is not what I meant. I mean, to deal with you lot. I am more than enough on my own. That lit a fire under them instantly. The punks charged in a frenzy, determined to put Zai Lin in his place. But it did not even take 2.5 seconds. And the lot of them were beaten to a pulp. Two more guard captains tried to step up. But right then, Park Da-bong showed up. He scolded his underlings, and gave a totally fake apology to Zai Lin and Choi Loi, claiming he had not managed his men well, and hoped they would not take it to heart. Zai Lin just chuckled coldly inside, not bothering to hold a grudge. The little drama passed just like that. In the days that followed, the two of them lived quite peacefully. Choi Loi was in charge of teaching basic combat to the civilians, while Zai Lin handled logistics and cooked for everyone. Within a week, the two had fully integrated into the place. Not only that, Zai Lin leveled up by picking up a skill from a little girl. Acquired Magic Girl skill. Magical Girl transformation mode unlocked. What year are we in now? Running around here acting like some saint, since the thermal power plant has not been cleared yet. Why not let these two give it a shot? He summoned them, explained the situation at the power plant, and warned them that he had already lost several reconnaissance squads there. Zai Lin chuckled coldly internally. Hey, the fish finally took the bait. Eyeless zombies are nothing new, but have you ever seen a zombie that shoots electricity? Now, when Park Da-bong asked them to head to the power plant, Zai Lin agreed without even thinking. The two rode a motorcycle all the way to the plant. No sooner had they stepped inside than they found a swarm of eyeless zombies. Zai Lin whipped his chain out to engage, but the next second, the zombies spat out bolts of lightning, screeching across the air. Zai Lin's heart gave a jolt. He quickly pulled back his chain. They can actually use electricity. Did they mutate at the power plant? The current surged along the steel chain right at Zai Lin. A numbing sensation jolted through his whole body. The zombies lunged again. Seeing this, Choi Loi stepped in to help. He blocked the path for Zai Lin, raising a protective barrier with both hands. But it held for less than 2.5 seconds before the electric shock knocked him down. A gaping maw with sharp teeth lunged at Zai Lin, crackling with raw electrical power. Zai Lin let out a roar, taking the hit head-on. Damn it. Is there really no choice but to use that skill? Looking at the collapsed Choi Loi, Zai Lin made a decision. He stood on one leg, raised his hands to the sky. Ba la la energy. Transform. The three zombies looked completely dumbfounded. Suddenly, a pink glow erupted from Zai Lin's head. Magical girl form enabled. Transformation sequence initiated. Enemies thrown into total chaos. A heart-shaped energy rod descends from above. The zombies are thinking, what the hell? Zai Lin feels a bit embarrassed to death. How the hell does this transformation take so long? Holding the energy rod in hand, Zai Lin shouts in frustration. Begone, demons. Electric resistance enabled. Before the zombies could even react, Zai Lin grabs the rod and starts smashing away like crazy. Aishu's worldview is completely shattered by the scene. With the rod in hand, Zai Lin fears no lightning. In no time at all, three little freaks are headshot victims. Aishu is finding it hard to believe. Zai Lin, what on earth were you just doing? Zai Lin says with a straight face. That is a transformation. You are still young. You do not get it. Every awaken has their own transformation. Don't believe me, try it yourself. Aishu is half skeptical, but looking at Zai Lin's expression, it does not look like he is lying. He tries to mimic Zai Lin's movements to transform. Run. Zai Lin chuckles. Aishu realizes he is just being played. Just as Aishu is about to snap, Zai Lin quickly grants him lightning resistance. Zai Lin explains to him. He explains it to him, that he acquired the magical girl skill. Besides the transformation being a bit twisted, I get a random buff every time. While talking, Zai Lin pulls out a homemade drink and hands it to Aishu, suggesting that drinking this also grants a buff. Aishu takes a sip. His stamina and focus instantly jump by 10%. He asks what Zai Lin put in there. Zai Lin smirks. Nothing much. Just some of my own protein essence. Just as the two of them are joking and walking deeper inside, a giant gray zombie is quietly stalking them, over 2.5 meters tall. How do we take down a giant zombie? Seeing the monster, Zai Lin readies his iron chains, taking a combat stance, but the creature attacks first. Golden lightning transforms into a thick laser, firing at them. Zai Lin stays calm, instantly summoning a wooden structure. But in a split second, the wooden barrier is shattered by the lightning. Golden light permeates initiates everything. The two of them just got a free punk hairstyle. The giant zombie comes charging at them, claws bared, hands gripped tight, lightning bolts everywhere. The giant fist comes crashing down. They narrowly dodge it, chain in hand. I am unstoppable. Jae Rin's chain wrapped in the green dragon's flame pins the zombie's throat. Before the little monster could even let out a scream, Aishu is already there. New Year dumplings time. Let us crack them open. A whip kick sends it flying. Jae Rin pulls the chain with all his might. With the momentum, the giant zombie collapses. The ground had already been prepared by Jae Rin with spike-covered wooden traps. The zombie is impaled right through the heart. It lets out a series of wails. The commotion has attracted even more of the little Z freaks. Obviously, everyone is just here to make deliveries. Blue flames danced along the iron chain. Wherever it passed, the scent of roasted meat hung in the air. Seeing that Choi Loi did not even need to lift a finger, the book opened and shut wide. He unleashed a flurry of strikes, hacking violently at the giant zombie. The SHIELD organization lost a power station to 3 scout teams, and just like that, they were easily wiped out by those 2. Meanwhile, on a nearby hilltop, a scout was watching everything unfold through binoculars. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would never have believed they could take that monster down. He relayed the message back. Park Da-bong was beaming with excitement. With these 2 helping out, looks like becoming second in command is not just a dream anymore. The scout finished his task and prepped to head back. But before he could even pack his bag, Jae Rin and Choi Loi had already tracked him down. Without waiting for him to say a word, Jae Rin said with a grin, "Don't be so nervous, little brother. I am just stopping by to ask if you have had something to eat." On the other side, Park Da-bong received another notification. The team sent to clear the hospital had suddenly gone silent. Long after. Wait, it had been a long while. A signal finally came through from that squad. They claimed they would run into some trouble, and requested headquarters send more awakeners for support. Park Da-bong immediately promised to send reinforcements. What he did not count on was that the captain of the first squad had already been possessed by a zombie. Just how scary could a high-intelligence zombie get? The entire SHIELD self-defense unit was wiped out. Even their strongest captain had been taken over. Park Da-bong had no idea the message he got was from a zombie. Through the radio, he immediately mobilized the awakeners for a rescue op. Jae Rin and Choi Loi, who were busy treating Choi Loi to fried rice, heard the message over the radio too. Understanding the situation at a glance, they decided to head to the hospital to check it out. Arriving at the hospital entrance, Jae Rin took the radio from Choi Loi to contact Park Da-bong. Something was feeling awfully fishy. The combined strength of the SHIELD base's awakeners was not even a tenth of a proper fighting force. So why on earth would they call for backup? He suspected a zombie had taken over the captain and sent a fake distress signal. Park Da-bong remained totally calm. While Jae Rin's logic made sense, a zombie with actual intellect was hard to swallow. Jae Rin told him, dead serious. The world is full of wild things we have not seen. I mean, for heaven's sake, chickens are evolving. Why not a smart zombie? But regardless, since we are already here, Jae Rin decided to go take a look. Once inside the hospital, Jae Rin handed Choi Loi a yellow magic stone. This operation was incredibly dangerous. He felt she needed to upgrade her own abilities. Choi Loi did not stand on ceremony, and used the yellow stone right away. The duo cut a path through the hospital, clearing out the zombies with ease. They reached the location where the captain sent the distress signal. With a sudden sound, the door swung open. The two peeked inside with extreme caution. From deep within the room, the captain's cries for help echoed. Jae Rin was on high alert. Don't lose focus. It is a trap. Choi Loi was incredibly curious how he would figured it out. Jae Rin explained, if a normal survivor did not want to get offed by a monster, there is no way they would be screaming for help like that. Green dragon fire flared along the iron chain. Jae Rin led the way, lighting the room with his chain. Isao's suggestion, why not just blow the whole building up? Jae Rin breaks into a cold sweat. These chicks are ruthless, though that method is not bad. Jae Rin has a better idea. Pushing open a door, Jae Rin spots a shadow inside. He does not step forward. Instead, he shouts with a sudden, commanding presence. Bara Bara, transform. Magical girl mode activated. The enemies fall into chaos. Taking advantage of the opening, Jae Rin grabs the fuel rod. Give me something flammable. Initiating now. Oil blast. Black oil sprays out from the rod. The zombies are caught, barely reacting before they are drenched. At the same time, the iron chain in Jae Rin's hand releases azure dragon flames. The oil ignites instantly. The zombies are buried in a sea of fire. One tenacious survivor tries to charge at Jae Rin. Jae Rin raises one hand. Wooden construction, activate. Thick tree trunks seal the exit instantly. Jae Rin wears a satisfied smirk. Hey, welcome to my furnace. this guy is so crafty. He actually trapped the zombies just to roast them. Two of the tougher zombies can't help but shriek in rage. They frantically beat against the wooden wall. Jae Rin uses fusion skill to generate pressure, buffing ICO. Right at that moment, the two frantic zombies manage to smash through the wall. They scream and curse while searching for Jae Rin, but all they find is endless, crushing pressure. Jae Rin and ICO rush into the fray. Snap! A lash of the right leg. Snap! 5 continuous whips. Everything knocked out cold. Just then, the tentacles on the zombies' heads start to wriggle, their bodies slowly dragging back into the room. ICO sees this. She uses her hand as a blade to sever them with one fierce strike. Once the fires die down, the two enter the room. Aside from the smell of roasted meat, they also find a yellow magic stone. Jae Rin does not hesitate to snatch the stone into his bag. He reminds ICO, zombies with high intelligence like these will only get more common, so you have always got to keep your head in the game. Back at the Aegis base, the two report the situation to Kim Im-eun. After he leaves, ICO is quite curious. She feels Kim Im-eun's attitude toward them has suddenly turned polite. Jae Rin smiles and explains. Kim Im-eun only had 2 defense units under his command. Now that one is wiped out. He is definitely desperate to fill the gap in his combat power. So, sucking up to us was inevitable. Not only that, Jae Rin believes he will also eagerly praise them to his superiors. And just like that, we can naturally infiltrate the Aegis headquarters. Sure enough, Jae Rin and ICO had just finished analyzing his motives. When he returns to them, just as Jae Rin had deduced, Kim Im-eun offers a few polite pleasantries first. Then he suggests taking them to headquarters to meet the commander. Jae Rin asks about the departure time and readily agrees. Leaving the office, Jae Rin calculates in his head. I will finally get to see the boss of Aegis soon. Need to be fully prepared before then. I have just enough magic stones to buff a skill. Jae Rin goes straight for the upgrade. The E rank transfer skill is now D rank. His skeletal muscles got a solid boost too. System notification incoming. Tasks are now available to level up transferred skills. Jae Rin turns to look at Yizio. He is the expert who masters the heavenly demon divine art. Should I take his quest? Jae Rin feels a thrill. A quest? That would save me a ton of magic stones. Accepting. Yizio is very interested in your fighting style. Yizio is very interested in your fighting style. Task, satisfy him empty-handed. Satisfy him empty-handed. Task, satisfy him empty-handed. Heavenly Demon Divine Art D rank unlocked. Upgrade unlocked. Unlock complete. Jae Rin grins. Hey, Yizio. Today, I am gonna send you to Cloud 9 with just these hands. As long as I keep the customer satisfied, my skill levels up. Jae Rin suggests a friendly spar with Yizio. The guy can't wait to jump in. A whip kick lands on the back of his hand, just as Jae Rin tries to grab him. Yizio pulls back immediately. Before Jae Rin can launch a second wave, Yizio makes his move. A flurry of strikes. Take this. I will show you enough today. That opening move leaves Jae Rin reeling. Damn it. Why is he wearing yoga pants? Jae Rin blocks with his forearms. His eyes are locked on the target. Yizio uses his momentum against him. A lightning-fast twist. Same leg technique, different angle, but the opening is gone. Seems like the flower is in full bloom. Jae Rin stares fixedly. Screw it, just gotta dive in and see. An iron fist strikes out. Yizio senses the danger. He immediately pivots to create distance. That was close. Almost got caught. Jae Rin charges again, but this time, they are really going for it. Yizio parries with a palm. The combat is getting blurry, but Jae Rin has been observing the dirty tricks of high society long enough. He has got eyes like a hawk now. Yizio's hands are caught. His body is yanked forward. Jae Rin lets out a cheeky laugh. He knows this move all too well. Yizio won't go down without a fight. A sudden low blow aimed at the groin. Crisis moment. Jae Rin slams his thighs shut, trapping him. Yizio, are you crazy? How could you do that to your brother? Yizio pouts. I did not mean it. Forget it. I concede this round. The spar only boosted satisfaction by 20%, but Jae Rin is not interested in going on. Done with this. Jae Rin takes Yizio to meet a young girl. Her name is Yi Rin. She is the girl who taught Jae Rin the magical girl skill. Because he was about to leave soon, he was worried the zombies might attack this place. So he wanted to see Jae Rin become an awakened. That way, he could have some self-defense. He gave Jae Rin the red magic stone as a gift, and taught him how to awaken. Jae Rin awakened as a magical girl, and his powers were even stronger than Jae Rin's. He could possess 4 magic skills simultaneously. And not just that, he could also summon a magic statue and grant it buffs. The magic statue's combat power was no joke. It could easily wipe out regular giant zombies. Seeing such power, Jae Rin finally felt reassured. And next, it was time to meet the ruler of the Shield faction, Lee Sang-chul, a mere actor, yet a D-grade human. and he even possessed the ruler's ability. Upon meeting Li Sang-chul, Jai Rin was quite taken aback. No wonder he was so crazily expanding his territory. It definitely had to do with this ruler skill. Looks like I am about to snatch myself another badass skill. Regarding the arrival of Jai Rin and the others, Li Sang-chul showed great enthusiasm. After all, the strong are respected wherever they go. At the same time, to reward them both, Li Sang-chul gifted Jai Rin a whole crate of red magic stones, and with Kim Tae Jin as his superior, he was also promoted to an officer. The first step of Jai Rin's plan was a success. Now, he just had to slowly get close to Li Sang-chul, learn his skill, and then he could wipe out the shield faction in one fell swoop. However, right then, some bad news arrived. Not long after Jai Rin and his group left the shield base, a giant python zombie launched an attack on that place. Jai Rin was worried about the kid's safety, so he immediately told Kim Tae Jin to find him a motorcycle. Meanwhile, the self-defense team inside the base was standing by for the zombie tide. The loss of the first unit left the village's defense extremely thin. The second unit captain did not feel confident either. As a member of the village, Jai Rin also wanted to protect everyone like the others. He found the captain, declaring that he too was an awakened, hoping to help guard the village. The captain was completely dumbfounded. "What trouble are you trying to cause now, kid?" But before he could chase Jai Rin away, the zombie tide broke out. The freaks were charging in with overwhelming force. There were 5 giant pythons alone. The guards fired frantically, but it was completely useless. Just then, Jai Rin transformed. He summoned his magic statue and started slashing at the zombies. This move made everyone look at the kid with newfound respect. However, there were just too many zombies. Jai Rin's power was very limited. In no time, the magic statue was shattered. The giant python was just about to swallow Jai Rin whole. Jai Rin and the others arrived just in time, soothed him, and both of them charged at the giant python zombie. And right then, the 5 giant pythons entangled together. The zombies mutated once more, merging into one massive, slimy beast. He clenched his fists. Jai Rin whipped his chain around wildly. The two of them coordinated beautifully as they charged. The blue dragon flame on his iron chain was activated. Dragon head versus python head. The roars were incessant. He flipped 180 degrees in midair. All his power gathered into his legs. He landed on the python's head like a dragonfly skimming water. But the power in his feet was as heavy as a ton, leaving everyone stunned. The giant python was stomped into the ground. That final blow really set him off. But when facing raw, absolute power, all the roaring and yelling in the world is just futile rage. Their teamwork was perfectly synced. A chain whip slammed into its head, while a brutal kick swept its legs. It did not take long. The beast was trashed and face down on the ground again. Just as they were about to finish it off, the beast spewed out a fountain of rotten flesh from its mouth. It splattered all over the zombies, instantly sending them into a frenzy. It was just a last-ditch distraction for the beast to bail. The two quickly mowed down the zombies and gave chase. For any seasoned hunter, you never let your reward get away. Funny how a gearhead could not beat someone who plays with people. 61-year-old Guo Duba is the leader of the Iron Hammer Group. He mods motorcycles into these twisted vehicle hybrids. And for Li Sang-chul, his domination skill lets him pool the power of 30 people into himself. Even against that massive, hulking machine thing, he still had juice to spare. Right when Jai Rin was cleaning up the beast zombies, the Iron Hammer Group launched an assault on the Shield HQ. It never ends with these guys, does it? The satellite village zombie crisis had barely been handled, and everyone had to bolt back to HQ. As for the Iron Hammer Group, Jai Rin learned about them in his dreamscape. Not exactly saints, but not pure evil either. Just arrogant and reckless. They do not value human life one bit. They only look out for their own crew, and do not give a damn about anyone else's survival. By the time Jai Rin made it back, Li Sang-chul and Guo Duba were already throwing hands. Jai Rin's arrival cracked the battle wide open. Guo Duba was captured, and Li Sang-chul seemed to take a liking to Jai Rin. That is how Jai Rin snagged that domination skill. Jai Rin checked the system panel in detail and found it was not just for humans. Devil statutes and vitality can boost his own stats too. Now that he has got this skill, there is no reason for him to stick with the Shield faction. But before that, Jai Rin has one more thing to do, and that is to find out about Li Sang-chul's crimes and liberate the innocent. Jai Rin asked Li Sang-chul what the beef was with the Iron Hammer Group. Li Sang-chul told him, it started as a petty territorial squabble. It ended in someone getting killed, and everything spiraled from there. Jai Rin asked how he planned to deal with them. Li Sang-chul made it clear that if they do not bow down, he is going to make them pay dearly. Jai Rin thought to himself, that is a waste. Every awakened one has real value, after all. He told him he wants to try and talk them down first. If in 3 days nothing works, he would not interfere with however Sang-chul wanted to finish it. Li Sang-chul shot him an incredulous look. He knew Guoduba's temper all too well, but 3 days was not really a long time, so he agreed to Zai Lin's terms. Leaving HQ, Zai Lin took Choi Loi into the small woods nearby. Before trying to charm the opposition, he wanted to test the strength of his new domination skill. The first time he used it, he only drained the power of 10 people. But even just that, Zai Lin felt like he was pushing his limit. This skill chugs mana way too fast. He could not help but wonder how Li Sang-chul pulled it off. If he can draw from 10 people, then that guy must be using way more. Looks like before taking him down, he needs to crack the secret behind Li Sang-chul. This plain-looking sausage-munching girl turns out to be some kind of contract genius. She is actually Guoduba's granddaughter. Just another non-awakened guy who has not unlocked his skills yet. Time to convince Guoduba. His granddaughter is the key. Of course, I am not planning to kidnap her. I just need to put her skill to good use. Using the motorcycle's stealth mode, Zai Lin and his crew infiltrated the Iron Hammer base. He found Guoduba's granddaughter, Guo Shuling. He spilled the beans about her grandfather and handed her a red demon stone. Guo Shuling took it with a skeptical look. A crimson glow enveloped her. Skill acquired. Proxy activated. Zai Lin asked excitedly what ability she got. Guo Shuling looked confused. She told Zai Lin, "Looks like I can set some contract terms or something." She activated her proxy skill on Zai Lin. The next second, 2 identical dialogue boxes popped up. Contract details. Zai Lin was not fooling around with Guo Shuling. She must speak the truth. She must speak the truth. She must speak the truth. Guo Shuling works for Zai Lin for 1 month. If she lies, suffer the consequences. Zai Lin returned to the base with his partner. First time testing the skill. Guo Shuling did not quite gauge the settings right. Just set some simple penalties. Zai Lin signed the contract. Under the skill's judgment, it becomes a binding pact. Everything he says must be the truth. Everything he says must be the truth. Strictly speaking, everything he says is now the absolute truth, and Guo Shuling must honor the contract and work for him for a month. Zai Lin brought Guo Shuling to headquarters. Seeing his granddaughter being brought in, Guoduba thought he was being held hostage. Zai Lin explained he only brought her to talk some sense into him. Before Guoduba could say a word, Guo Shuling whispered faintly, "Grandpa, I am an awakened too." That left the old man totally stunned. Before he could react, Guo Shuling had already triggered her skill. For the next 30 minutes, Zai Lin must speak only the truth. You are caught in Zai Lin's contract. Zai Lin is gonna make sure you honor it. Guoduba read the fine print and signed. Guoduba looked over the contract and signed it. He was still a bit unsure of Zai Lin's intentions. Zai Lin leaned in and whispered in his ear, "We share the same goal. We are here to tear down the shield." Hearing this, Guoduba was shocked, but since he did not trigger a penalty, it meant Zai Lin was telling the truth. He asked Zai Lin for his reasoning. Zai Lin did not feel like explaining. He just asked for a yes or no. Even then, Guoduba still doubted Zai Lin could take down Li Shangja, because he would seen the guy's 100-man strength firsthand. That kind of power was not something a normal person could handle. He lost a lot of men just trying to escape him back then, and he knew Li Shangja's true power was far beyond that. Zai Lin smiled slightly. "No worries, because I know the future." As soon as he said it, everyone gasped. Under the contract's effect, Zai Lin could not possibly be lying. He looked Guoduba dead in the eyes. "Old man, don't doubt me. Just as you think Li Shangja is strong, I might just be stronger than you imagine." A moment of silence. Guoduba bursts into wild laughter. "I will remember that, kid. Never thought I would find a new partner in crime." System notification. You have reached a certain affinity level with 2 experts. You may now acquire their skills. Zai Lin's lips curl into a smirk. Hey, today was a massive haul. This old man is absolutely insane. To think he uses monster waste to create human-zombie hybrids. After persuading that dead-brained fool Guoduba, Li Sang-chul is genuinely impressed by Zai Lin's abilities. He decides to clue him in on his new human project. The duo agrees to meet at the lab in 3 days. In the meantime, Zai Lin spends 2.5 days maxing out Li Seo's satisfaction to 100%. The Heavenly Demon Divine Art also upgrades to a D rank skill. In the blink of an eye, the day arrives. Zai Lin follows Li Sang-chul to a secret underground room. Even though he had mentally prepared himself, the scene before him is still shocking. The lab is packed with jars containing zombie parts and human organs, and right there he spots a ghost from his past, the mad scientist, Wang Sang-chul. He is the director of this research facility. The zombie modification project is his brainchild. After the introductions, Wang Sang-chul presents one of his completed works, 2 blood-red mutants. Zai Lin activates his analysis skill. Mutant type, hybrid organism. Li Sang-chul claims they are his sworn brothers. Who volunteered for this project? Zai Lin is incredibly curious about how he pulled it off. Wang Sang-chul leads them into another room. He shows Zai Lin a divine object they have captured. Li Sang-chul calls him the hope of humanity, a monster. Zai Lin triggers his analysis, only to find the creature's data is just a string of gibberish, and it is just a single cell. You have got to be kidding me. Is that some kind of carbon chicken-based chicken sh*t. Wang Sangchul steps forward and says, "It is feeding time. Might as well show everyone how it works." As the button is pressed, a naked man appears on the chamber floor. His hands and mouth are completely bound, and his whole body is trembling. The creature sniffs him twice, then opens a maw full of razor-sharp teeth. It swallows him in one gulp. The beast lets out a satisfied burp. Then it spits out a golden bead. Wang Sangchul explains, "This is a life stone. Eating it makes any human stronger than a zombie." Zai Lin feels a wave of nausea. Are these people blind? Don't they have analysis skills? That is straight-up monster excrement. Zai Lin suppresses his discomfort, praising their great plan. Surprisingly, those words alone win Wang Sangchul's favor, granting him the other guy's ability. Zai Lin did not expect a bonus prize like this. He takes the skill without a word. Then he asks Li Sangchul if there are any side effects. Li Sangchul says it is perfectly safe. He is eating them himself. At the same time, he offers one to Zai Lin. Staring at the bead that looks like raw sewage, Zai Lin starts to develop a murderous intent. I absolutely cannot let these two freaks keep on being crazy. He puts his hand behind his back to signal Li Xiao. Li Sangchul walks to the experimental tank. He prepares to show Zai Lin the power of the new humans. The X door opens. The two blood-red hybrids sit up. They are nothing like the other zombies. They have full consciousness, yet they are so damn grateful to Li Sangchul for giving them the chance to evolve. What they do not realize is that final thank you will be the last thing they ever say. Azure Dragon activated. Terror activated. 10-man strength enabled. Nice move. Ambushing an old guy, are we? Zai Lin is going all out this time. Before Li Sangchul could even turn his head, Zai Lin already blew his brains out. That left everyone stunned. But before they could even react, Isul's handblade had already sliced through Li Sangchul's neck. Just 2.5 seconds. Two people already sent to the graveyard. Zai Lin activates the pressure skill. Two half-breeds are hit instantly. Isul's hand is already pressed against their heads. Snap. Both are dead too. Zai Lin just took out the key shield bearers, and had Isul record everything as evidence. Just as they were about to deal with the root cause, something went wrong. Li Sangchul slowly started to stand up. His head was beginning to regenerate. Didn't see that coming. Zai Lin, you actually betrayed me. Zai Lin is shocked. He can even come back after a headshot. This guy is a real monster. Whatever does not matter. I will just kill him again. The iron chain rattles. Combined with the foresight skill, the chain slams into Li Sangchul's head once more. Before his body could even hit the ground, Isul's sidekick was waiting. One kick to the gut. Isul quickly follows up with another strike. Li Sangchul goes flying. Zai Lin's chain lashes out again. That little combo. Li Sangchul is in bad shape. Rotten flesh wriggles all over him. Rotten flesh wiggles all over him, repairing his pathetic excuse for a body. I will make you suffer before you die. 200-man strength. Activate. Violent energy surges out of control. Li Sangchul has mutated. He has gotten stronger too. His primary target is Isul. A punch lands on Ope. Isul lets out a painful wail. Before Zai Lin can advance, Li Sangchul turns his spearhead. Wild punches swing toward him, fists pounding on Zai Lin. With the 200-man strength boost, he has no way to strike back. Suddenly, a noise erupts from behind, followed by a dozen armed guards. Looks like they got an alert that the boss was in trouble. Li Sangchul looks at them like they are just free meals. He is grinning ear to ear. No surprise there. The little ones are wiped out in an instant, swallowing a human limb. Li Sangchul acts like he is just devouring an energy bar, muscles pulsing all over his body, like a hulking giant. He charges into the crowd, slaughtering everyone. Zai Lin watches the scene, chills running down his spine. He opens his skill bar. Only skill synthesis is left. This special ability is useless now. He tries to activate it. System prompt. The user can choose two skills to synthesize at will. Use skill synthesis. Can be enhanced via Magic Stone Result 1. Confirm initialization of reinforcement level 7. Confirm reinforcement. Zai Lin nods decisively. Synthesizing analysis and bioengineering. Synthesis skill significantly enhanced via Magic Stone. Temporary special skill Mimic generated. Mimic. Analyzing body. Mimicking advantages. Mimic enabled. Analysis target Li Shangja. Analysis at 11%. Body reinforced. An agonizing bone-tearing pain floods his entire body. Acquisition material speeds up analysis. Looking at the scattered flesh on the ground, Zai Lin is bewildered. Are these supposed to be materials? You have got to be kidding. Do not tell me I have to eat that. Zai Lin grunts, enduring the sharp pain to pick up a piece, but immediately the flesh dissolves. Collected material useful for mimic. Analysis progress increased. Zai Lin crawls arduously to grab more scraps. Meanwhile, Li Shangja finishes his meal. He licks the leftovers off his fingers, looking at Zai Lin with mockery. Hey, any last words before you bite the dust? Zai Lin turns his back to Li Shangja and slowly stands up. I think that should be my line, buddy. That punch was absolute terror. With mimic mode activated, Zai Lin stands confident. A single strike sends Li Shangja currently at 200% power. Flying back, nearly disintegrated. Li Xiangzhe's mangled body begins to slowly regenerate. Facing Zai Lin's mockery, he suddenly lets out a wild laugh. That last punch was actually interesting. You have earned the right to act cocky, but now, get ready to taste my full wrath. 500% power, engaged. Veins pop on Li Xiangzhe's skin, strength skyrocketing. His wide eyes look like they have been plastered with cosmetics. In Zai Lin's shocked gaze, half of Li Xiangzhe's body begins to bloat. Compared to his previous form, he looks more like a chicken that has never touched a basketball. With a loud bang, half of Li Xiangzhe explodes, replaced by tentacles adorned with 5 giant eyes. Mimic body undergoing drastic mutation. Mimic body triggering anomalous mutation level 17. Mimic body undergoing massive transformation. Starting analysis. Species analysis at 13%. Zai Lin can only curse. After all that trouble getting to 100%, I have to do it all over again. Zai Lin still grit his teeth against the pain of the transformation. Li Xiangzhe slowly edges closer. His maniacal laughter rings out the sound of a loser trying to act tough. In a blink, he lunges at Zai Lin, striking him square on. Before he can even react, Li Xiangzhe flashes behind him, joining both hands for a brutal hammer blow. Zai Lin is struck in the lower back. A mouthful of blood sprays out, kicked over in one swift move. Li Xiangzhe's fists rain down like hail. Limb-like tentacles wrap around Zai Lin's neck, hoisting him up. Hey, I am going to make sure you suffer until your very last breath. Just then, Isul wakes up, seeing her brother being throttled. Without a second thought, she lunges in with a flying kick. Li Xiangzhe is kicked hard in the head. He turns around to glare, a sinister thought bubbling up. He tossed Zai Lin aside, looking over at Yi Xiao. Hey, little lady. Yi Xiao, are you ready? Are you ready? Whoosh. Li Chang's silhouette vanished. By the time Yi Xiao could focus, he was already right in her face. But she did not flinch. Her hands traced a Tai Chi symbol in the air, using softness to overcome brute force. Using stillness to master movement. Chinese martial arts. Profound and vast. Li Chang's punch was neutralized by Yi Xiao's Tai Chi. Li Changze took a slap to the face, looking totally dumbfounded. Suddenly he grinned. Tentacles sprouted from his back, turning into spikes, and attacked Yi Xiao. Yi Xiao struck a Ip Man pose, calm and unbothered as she toyed with him. Zai Lin watched the scene from distance, stunned. Is this the legendary Chinese Kung Fu? Is this the legendary Chinese Kung Fu? This girl is actually using Chinese Tai Chi Kung Fu. Li Changze, with 500 points of strength, was pushed back by a single palm strike. Zai Lin was staring from the side, completely dumbstruck. That half-breed zombie he could not even beat was getting absolutely shredded by Yi Xiao. He would not give up that easily. He picked up the gore from the floor and started absorbing it. Intense pain pulsed deep into his marrow. Zai Lin could not hold back and let out a loud groan. Back on the other side, Yi Xiao was still dancing around him with her martial arts. Even though she had the upper hand in every exchange, Li Chang's recovery speed far outweighed her attack frequency. Rotten flesh wiggled on him, repairing his body, but Yi Xiao had no way to replenish her spent stamina. The last wound was about to knit shut. Li Changze let out a raspy cackle. Whoosh! He heard a sonic boom right by his ear. The body that was currently mending suddenly lost half an arm. Zai Lin's fingers were pressed together like a blade. Using his hand as a knife, he swiftly severed Li Chang's arms. Without a second of hesitation, Zai Lin chose to absorb him. Materials extremely helpful for analyzing the mimic body collected. Body will be rapidly enhanced. A violent wave of power surged through his entire frame. Gritting his teeth against the pain, Zai Lin spun around instantly. Li Changze did not even have time to react before meeting Zai Lin's flurry of fists. Fists rained down on him like a downpour. Li Changze could only remain on the defensive. Suddenly, a rush of wind came from behind. Yi Xiao landed a flying kick right into his waist. The pincer attack caught him completely off guard. Zai Lin gathered all his strength into his right fist. He sent him flying with a single punch. Zai Lin accelerated again, pursuing him. With a quick grab, his left hand caught him. This time it was Zai Lin dragging Li Changze around. He did not waste any breath on talk. He just said one thing calmly: get wasted. The next second, the power in his palm surged. An intense suffocating sensation washed over like a rising tide. In just 2.5 seconds, Li Changze went limp. Zai Lin tossed him onto the ground like a dead dog. Yi Xiao stepped forward to ask if he was toast. Zai Lin stared daggers at him. Not yet, because there was no system notification. He extended his left foot and stomped hard onto Li Chang's skull. Blood and gore splattered all over the floor. The grantor Li Changze is now deceased. Governing skills will not be revoked. Well, he finally kicked the bucket. At that moment, Li Chang's body began to emit faint sparks of red light. Analysis of the robust mimic body complete. Analysis 100%. Your body will now undergo evolution. Jae Rin's heart skipped a beat. Evolution. Am I turning into a zombie or what? It is yet another fuzzy stick-like object. In Korea, they call it a divine item, but back in China, it is just called Just Cause. After taking out Lee Sang-chul, Jae Rin prepared to have a little chat with Just Cause, only to find out the guy had already bolted. But this trip was not a total bust. After finishing off Lee Sang-chul, Jae Rin's assimilation rate hit 100%, granting him super regeneration abilities. Any injury heals in under 2.5 seconds, good as new. Done with all that, Jae Rin set out to handle Just Cause, only to find he would already fled. The duo decided to give chase. Entering the sewers, they had not gone far when the whole tunnel collapsed. Seeing that, they had no choice but to call it quits. Heading back to the lab, the pair decided it was time to clear out. On the way back, Jae Rin spotted something fishy about a wall. He punched it twice, and would not you know it, he would found Lee Sang-chul's personal vault. Talk about hitting the jackpot. Jae Rin did not hesitate to stuff it all into his pack. He even generously tossed some scarlet demon stones to Yi Seo. After leaving the secret base, Jae Rin met up with Kim Hung-sik in the grove. Kim Hung-sik, clueless, thought Jae Rin was there to promote him, but he was in for a rude awakening. Jae Rin told him with a smirk, "If you want to live, you would better kneel to me." That spineless wimp Kim Hung-sik agreed, no surprise there, but Jae Rin did not trust his word for a second. So he slapped a contract skill on him. From now on, Kim Hung-sik is Jae Rin's man, forever unable to betray him. Once the contract is broken, Kim Hung-sik is done for. To save his own skin, Kim Hung-sik had no choice but to sign. However, little did he know, Jae Rin's first assignment for him was to be the fall guy. He handed him the phone with Yi Seo's recording, telling him to go pull the curtain on Lee Sang-chul's crimes. Kim Hung-sik did not let him down. He spilled the beans to the crowd, positioning Jae Rin as a literal hero. Jae Rin declared to everyone, Lee Sang-chul's era is over. Anyone who wants out can join his camp. His base is guarded by over a dozen awakened. Super safe. Right on cue, Wo Duba rolled up with his motorcade fleet. Jae Rin signaled, "If you are in, follow the cars." The small fries cheered in delight. In times like these, they are not calculating who is stronger. Whoever can keep them alive is the boss. But Jae Rin was not like them. As they confirmed they were following him, the system pinged. Your influence has grown significantly. Manpower can be deployed, 320. Jae Rin grinned. Hey, only 320 people. This is too easy, right? Meanwhile, up in a nearby tree, a mysterious man was watching everything go down at the SHIELD headquarters. His name is Han Won-wook, chief of the 3rd Department of the National Intelligence Service. Watching Jae Rin's silhouette, he muttered to himself, Lee Sang-chul taken out. Things are starting to get interesting. Wiping out the SHIELD organization is quite a harvest, not to mention the rewards. Jae Rin also wrangled that bunch of idiots from the Sledgehammer gang. He brought them all back to his camp. Jae Rin was stunned by what he saw before his eyes. It had not even been 2.5 weeks since he left, yet the base had more than doubled in size. Even the guards at the entrance were clearly well trained. Quite a sight, honestly, even though Yellow Hair had been keeping him in the loop with his crows. Seeing the base with his own eyes, Jae Rin could not help but gasp in amazement. Just then, Choi Loi rushed over. He was dying to brag to Jae Rin about all the changes in the camp. Since they left, the base had added a ton of new departments. The security team was under Park Da-bong's command. He was teaching everyone his heavenly demon divine art. Even though he is half paralyzed, when it comes to teaching, he is still more than happy to drill his disciples. The scouting team was handled by Yellow Hair. His network of informants was entirely made up of city rats and other small critters. On top of that, there was a construction department, a mess hall, and a makeshift hospital. Small as it was, it had everything a real base needed. They even built a statue of Jae Rin without any heads on it. A true Jae Rin sculpture. Suddenly, someone from security ran over to report, stating that a government official wanted to meet their leader, and they claimed to be from the Intelligence Bureau. Jae Rin was still processing this when the guy literally barged in. The guy stated point blank that he wanted to have a word with Jae Rin. Jae Rin activated his analysis skill. Han Won-wook, E-rank human. He has the ability to see thousands of miles away. Neutral. Well, he is an awakener with no hostile intent. Jae Rin invited him into the room, asking him just what his mission was. Han Won-wook explained, ever since the zombie outbreak began, the leadership's stupidity and incompetence had fed countless civilians to the zombies. Some even got obsessed with a wacko cult. He was here to seek Jae Rin's help. Jae Rin frowned, confused. What the hell kind of cult? Han Won-wook asked, dead serious. Have you ever heard of the indestructible sect? As soon as he said it, Jae Rin's heart skipped a beat. He never imagined that they would somehow be linked to such a religion. In his memories, the indestructible sect was a bunch of psycho zombie worshippers. Any survivor who resisted them would end up as zombie feed. They were absolutely heartless. He asked the guy, is Choi Myung-ho the leader of that sect? Han Won-wook nodded, confirming it. Meanwhile, he handed his phone over to Jae Rin. It had a picture of Choi Myung-ho on it. Seeing the target's face, Jae Rin was thrown off. He looked completely different from what he remembered. Did something change in the dream timeline? Han Won-wook explained, our investigation found that this Choi Myung-ho has the ability to control zombies, and he rarely shows his true face. The indestructible sect took over a massive territory in less than a month. Even his superiors are bowing down to him. Most importantly, the indestructible sect distributes a drug to their followers. It strips them of their sanity. As he spoke, he pulled out a bottle and handed it to Jae Rin. Upon seeing the object, Jae Rin was taken aback. Isn't this just zombie waste? Activating analysis skill. What the F***? It is literally liquid fecal matter. My goodness, are people really into such disgusting stuff these days? Either way, this definitely has something to do with the whole zombie situation. Regardless of what happens, time to go and do some checking, for real this time. What is the one thing that matters most in this post-apocalyptic dump? Food, obviously. Jae Rin promised to help Han Yuan-shu in the future. As a trade-off, the guy hooked him up with some serious intel. There is an awakener up north who deals with food production. He has been kept under lock and key by a local militia, and that group is known for being a real piece of work. Jae Rin can take them out and play God if he feels like it. Besides that, he also dropped another piece of info. Some combat-obsessed psychos have set up camp in Gyeonggi province. They formed an alliance and call themselves game players. Hunting zombies to rank up is their only fetish. And sure, they are legitimately strong. One of them, a guy nicknamed the Brute, is over there. If he is interested, Jae Rin could try and reach out. Jae Rin was pretty satisfied with the 2 tips from Han Yuan-shu. Absolutely satisfied. Sent the crew packing. Jae Rin told security to bring in Yi Shu. Either way, I am definitely getting my hands on that food-producing awakener. Before leaving, he had the intel department run an analysis first. Just like Han Yuan-shu said, the military outpost was indeed rotten to the core. 3,000 troops and 3 tank battalions. Looks like it is gonna be another massive loot haul. Jae Rin only took Yi Shu along with him. In his eyes, these common soldiers without awakened skills are not even as tough as a zombie. Firearms at this point are basically kids' toys to Jae Rin. They broke through the defense line in no time. The commander, feeling tough with his guns and cannons, actually thought he could waste Jae Rin. Too bad he picked the wrong target. Bullets could not even scratch them. Even the tanks they were so proud of were just trash-tier scrap metal. The leader was captured, but he still had a big mouth. For scum like that, Jae Rin has always preferred a quick ending. Watching their boss get iced, the rest of the lackeys lost all desire for resistance. Surrendered one by one. Jae Rin rounded them up to ask about the Awakener's location. They stuttered and spilled everything to Jae Rin. Turns out, a few months ago, their unit ran out of rations. They accidentally stumbled upon this old farmer who knew how to grow veggies, so they begged him for help. After they arrived, the commander hoarded the food and cut everyone else off. The old farmer found out and wanted to bail, but the leader locked him up in solitary confinement. Jae Rin got the location and headed straight for the old guy. Arriving at the detention area, Jae Rin's eyes lit up. Fruits and vegetables everywhere, and they were way bigger than normal ones. Seeing Jae Rin, the old farmer gave him a curious look. Jae Rin activated his analysis skill. Lin Zhengsheng, F-grade human. Farmer. Jae Rin walked up with a grin. Old-timer, I heard you have been having a rough time in here. I am here to save you. The guy running this place is already dead. After he spoke, the 2 lackeys behind Jae Rin stepped out to confirm. Hearing that, Lin Zhengsheng was so moved he dropped a watermelon the size of a basketball. Thank you so much. You have avenged me. Jae Rin's act earned him the guy's favor. He successfully copied the cultivate skill. Can use magic to speed up plant growth. Got the skill. Next step is to bring the guy back to the base. He told him his plans. However, Lin Zhengsheng still remembered the trauma of getting conned last time. He was not about to let himself be played for a fool again. Jae Rin signaled his understanding. He told the other party that he could pay a visit to his camp first. If he did not like it, he could leave whenever he wanted. What is the difference between saying that and just showing off without actually closing the deal? Looks like Jae Rin's camp is getting an agriculture department, merging tanks and machinery to create D-grade battle mechs. Jae Rin hit the jackpot with this one. After taking out the military base leader, Zai Lin did not just capture nearly 3,000 soldiers. He also got his hands on a huge stash of tanks. He called Guo Duba over to handle the retrofitting of the tanks, and the soldiers were organized into a security team. Once all that was finished, everyone returned to camp. After seeing the thriving community heading toward prosperity, Lin Zhengshang quite unsurprisingly decided to stay. With that, the agriculture department was officially established. Lin Zhengshang's ability is incredibly useful for the future. He can make plants grow in an instant, and they grow even larger than usual. A power that rivals high-tech science. The production team would be reduced to tears of joy. The camp's development is getting better and better. Zai Lin named the place United Humanity. Done with that, Zai Lin needed to focus on upgrading his own gear. Even though he had plenty of magic stones on hand, he still had to be frugal. He started his skill upgrades by observing the experts in action. He learned theoretical knowledge from Elder Rong Chun, bringing his woodworking skill to D grade. He learned animal communication from Huang Mao, also upgrading that skill to D grade. Aside from that, comprehension upgraded. Mental stability, cooking, and acoustics all leveled up. Comprehension, mental stability, cooking, and acoustics all leveled up. Mental stability, cooking, and acoustics. Whoa. Comprehension, Magical Girl, and Medical Arts all upgraded to D grade. Magical Girl and Medical Arts both hit D grade. Magical Girl and Medical Arts both hit D grade. Comprehension leveled up. A week goes by. Comprehension leveled up. A week goes by. Trade. All of Zai Lin's skills were upgraded to D grade. Beyond that, he also had 3 special abilities. One was super fast recovery speed. The other 2 were declare territory and skill synthesis. Just as Zai Lin was about to catch a breath, Choi Loi informed him that a few more awakened ones had arrived at the camp. Zai Lin immediately spit out his soul. Damn it. Can't a guy get a break? Taking the report from Choi Loi, Zai Lin looked stunned. A blacksmith, an architect, and a grave robber. The first 2 I can kinda get. But what kind of ability does the last one even have? He looked at Choi Loi, thoroughly puzzled. Choi Loi explained it to him. The blacksmith he knows of, and the architect can craft weapons and gear, respectively. They can craft weapons and gear. And F-grade items do not even need magic stones to be mass-produced. This is incredibly useful for the camp's growth. But that grave robber, we only know he is skilled at excavation. Nothing else is known. Still, Zai Lin had an idea. Maybe he could use the guy's ability to create an underground base. Just then, the scouts sent over a report. It was intel on the major city, Chuncheon. Choi Loi asked with a confused look if Zai Lin was preparing to conquer it. Zai Lin neither confirmed nor denied it. To take back human territory, the major city must be captured. And most importantly, the monster that ate him 99 times in his dreams is in that very city. Zai Lin finally leveled all his skills to D grade. The city conquest officially begins. The veteran level awakened ones of the Human Alliance gathered in one room to discuss how to take down the city of Chuncheon. Huang Mao presented the latest scouting results. There are 5 locations with survivors in Chuncheon. Everyone, pay close attention. Zai Lin signaled the old man. Make sure the personnel relocation works smoothly. Then he asked Choi Loi how the other preparations were going. Choi Loi reported to him. The crew's weapons and gear are all set. We can head out tomorrow. Meeting adjourned. The new blacksmith and tailor in camp tracked Zai Lin down. They wanted to craft him a custom set of gear. Zai Lin handed the iron chain to the blacksmith. After that, he followed the tailor to get measured. The next day, the 2 of them found Zai Lin with the finished gear. D-grade uniform set. HJIHPJ7J. It is a D-grade uniform set. It is savage, and it comes with 3 D-grade passive effects. Zai Lin was quite surprised, but what shocked him more was yet to come. D+ grade explosive iron chain. Special ability, great explosion. Damn, that is impressive. Straight up cheating is the deadliest thing. The soldiers were locked and loaded. Zai Lin gave the signal. Everyone marched toward Chuncheon City. The Iron Hammer Group led the charge. They smashed through everything in their path, instantly catching the attention of the undead leaders. On the outskirts of Chuncheon, Zai Lin's front line halted. From the intel sent by the rats, the zombie horde is on the move. Time for a head-on collision. Zai Lin jumped into the fray. He raised the iron chain high and triggered the great explosion skill. The chain links fired off like a barrage of bullets. The small fry zombies were wiped out instantly. Watching that scene, the leading zombie flew into a rage. It led the remaining zombies in a killing charge. Zai Lin gave the all-out attack order as well. The great battle between humans and zombies began. Zai Lin led the way. The set effect activated instantly. Domination power at maximum output. 700 strength engaged. This time, Zai Lin pushed himself to his physical peak. The iron chain swirled with the force of the Azure Dragon. One swing out. and carnage ensued. The leading zombie let out a final, pathetic wail. Jae Rin did not even look back as he retracted the chain, because he knew, a real man never needs a second shot. A one-hit kill on a green demon stone grade leader. Just how terrifying has Jae Rin's strength become? It was not just the humans. Even the minor zombies stood there in utter bewilderment. Damn it, he is showing off again. Jae Rin uncoiled the chain toward the zombies opposite him. He gripped the whip with both hands and swung with all his might. The chain, cloaked in azure dragon flames, ripped through. The moment it neared the ground, Jae Rin triggered the great explosion skill. The links shot toward the face of the zombies like bullets. Seeing this, Guo Duba of the Iron Hammer Group could not hold back anymore. He ordered his men to open fire. The artillery barrage roared. Flesh and bone turned to mist. The echo of gunfire and the screams of the undead filled the city. The leader was done for. There was no need for Jae Rin to keep getting his hands dirty. Guo Duba's artillery pounded, boom boom boom. Yisha's iron fist pounded, bam bam bam. Plus the soldiers were all trained by Park Da-bong. The outcome of this battle was never in doubt. After collecting the magic stones from the ground, Jae Rin asked about casualties. Guo Duba said only a few people suffered minor injuries. Just a little rest, and we are good to fight again. Jae Rin was very satisfied with the results. He reached out and activated the wooden structures. Everyone was enclosed by a ring of tall tree trunks. Jae Rin called out to everyone. It is break time now. He gathered the wounded together and cast a healing spell to treat them. The rest of the group took a moment to rest and recuperate. Jae Rin pulled out a map and laid out the next tactical plan. He told them they would reach the target in an hour. It was going to be a hell of a fight. He reminded everyone to brace themselves mentally. Once rested, the group set off again. Not long after, they arrived at the destination. Checking the desolate, ruined streets, Jae Rin's expression turned grim. This was the place where he had died 99 times in his dreams. But why can't I see that vintage spicy stick? While he was lost in thought, cracks suddenly appeared on the ground in front of Jae Rin. And boom, there it is. With a thunderous rumble, a rod-like object shot up from the ground. It was just like the one he saw in the lab, but different. Its body was covered in countless small giant-like mouths. It looked like a massive monster suffering from some bizarre mutation. Choi Loi's jaw hit the floor in shock. Jae Rin just glanced over, thinking it wanted to get intimate. Suddenly, the sounds of tearing and chomping came from the zombie itself. Choi Loi cried out in alarm. Look out, they are tearing each other apart. The giant mouths were devouring one another. In just 2.5 seconds, the main body collapsed. A blue magic stone fell out of the zombie's maw. Jae Rin stared at the stone on the ground, dumbfounded. Is this damn thing already down for the count? Could it be some kind of trap? To have the power to one-shot a green stone zombie, only to be taken down this easily. The whip lashed out. The monster split from 1 into 2. Then 2 turned into 8. This damn thing is just like a hydra, killing and multiplying endlessly. Even Jae Rin's 700-man power whip could not finish it off. Jae Rin had no choice but to activate the wooden structures to trap it, getting ready to haul it back to the base for study. Once that was handled, Jae Rin led the troops to start conquering the city, with well-trained soldiers and the Iron Hammer Squad clearing the way. They seized a lot of territory in no time. Besides that, Jae Rin distributed the red magic stones. The soldiers' levels kept rising. Meanwhile, he used the blue magic stones to upgrade his own skills from D rank to C rank. Jae Rin's tactics were incredibly successful. Tired, build a barricade and rest up. Hungry, have the base send out a fast food truck to recharge. Injured, have the doctors patch you up. Just like that, piece by piece, the zombies' territory was claimed by Jae Rin. Not only that, they rescued a massive number of refugees. It only took 10 days, and the entire city of Chuncheon was under their control. But Jae Rin's goal was not just a tiny city, it was the entire island. Under his leadership, the initial base grew and expanded. In just a month's time, there was only one territory left to conquer. That was the southernmost end of the island, Samcheon City. At the same time, Jae Rin received a reward notification from the system. Selection, Regional Overlord. Freely designate a human alliance territory on the island. Acquired special skill, selection and concentration. Standing at the highest tower in the camp, Jae Rin activated his special skill. Within 3 hours, he could strengthen 3 skills. Jae Rin tried to activate it for the first one. He tried again for the next 3 hours. The buffed skill immediately leveled up. For him, this was basically a game-breaking bug. That is when Choi Loi found Jae Rin. He reported the research findings to Jae Rin. After days of analysis, they realized something. It was not just some regular cell. It was a zombie with its own self-awareness. Choi Loi figured it out. He could use mental stabilization to read the target's memories, but it was not without its risks. That is why he came to find Jae Rin. He wanted him to tag along. Jai Rin did not turn him down. As for the whole case, he was actually more curious than Choi Loi. The two headed to the lab. Choi Loi initiated the mental stabilization. A red flash later, the duo stepped into a bizarre, surreal world. Before they could even get their bearings, a zombie with gnashing teeth let out a roar. They turned around, sensing trouble immediately, because they clearly saw that the thing could actually perceive their existence. Stalking someone and getting caught, what do I do? Waiting online for help. Pretty urgent. Jai Rin and Choi Loi had barely entered that memory world when they were spotted by a huge bug-eyed zombie. Those giant eyes looked like they were caked in mascara. It gave Jai Rin one single glance, and he felt his strength drain away, legs going soft. Choi Loi realized this was bad. He immediately tried to drag Jai Rin out of there, but just as the stabilization kicked in, a system alert blared inside their brains. Escaping the memory now. Escape is being blocked. Need more time. The world around them began to crack like shattered glass. Both of them were shocked to the core. This is their memory world, after all. How could it detect them? A bone-chilling sensation washed over them. Choi Loi heard the zombie's menacing, terrifying voice. Did you think I would let you off that easy? The zombie's body started morphing. Lethal glares permeated its entire form. A wicked laugh erupted from that hideous mouth. Escape at 30%. The zombie suddenly lashed out with multiple limbs toward them. Escape at 90%. Countless arms were inches from grabbing them. A terrified Choi Loi grabbed onto Jai Rin. At this point, all he could do was pray for a faster exit. Snap. Everything around them shattered like glass. They felt like they were falling from the heavens. They were dumped directly back into the real world. Dripping with sweat, they caught each other's eyes, still shaken. A moment later, they finally steadied themselves. Everything that just happened was completely insane. To think it could actually sense them in its own memories. Choi Loi could not help but feel a lingering curiosity. How did this thing, that cannot be killed physically or broken mentally, get to Earth? And it was just one cell at that. Just imagine how terrifying a fully formed one would be. Jai Rin had not encountered anything like it in his dreams. But one thing was crystal clear. He had to boost his power right now. Otherwise, there is no way he could handle the disasters to come. Jai Rin and Choi Loi discussed the rewards for taking over the island. Jai Rin and Choi Loi discussed the rewards for taking over the island. Jai Rin and Choi Loi discussed the rewards for taking over the island. Jai Rin and Choi Loi discussed the rewards for taking over the island. He decided to start with the designated Human United territory to maximize his benefits. He wanted to construct an underground city. After all, they had a grave raider expert at building bases here. That way, the territory's scope could be infinitely contained. Regarding the structural integrity, he would reinforce it with magic stones. No need to worry about any collapse issues. Jai Rin's wild imagination left Choi Loi dazed. Never mind if it would actually work. The amount of magic stones required for such reinforcement was astronomical. Regarding that issue, Jai Rin laughed and said he already had a solution ready. That is how you become a post-apocalyptic merchant. He explained to Choi Loi, the folks over in Chuncheon have a ton of zombie hunters. We can totally sell them food with bonus effects and equipment as well. This way, I do not have to lift a finger myself. Magic stones will just keep flowing into my pockets. One person casts a skill. The whole village reaps the benefits. If you want to boost a city's GDP, you can't just rely on one person's strength. Jai Rin stood on the highest tower of the settlement and activated the compensation rewards for the camp. The region you have specified is quite narrow. Are you sure you want to select this? Jai Rin made his decision without a second thought. A ray of light flashed by. All residents in the camp received a system notification. The Overlord of Chuncheon, Jai Rin, has designated the Human Alliance territory. Members of this territory will receive massive benefits. Before they could even process what happened, they could feel a surge of powerful mana coursing through them. Mana recovery rate increased by 50%. All ability scores increased by 30%. All ability scores increased by 30%. All ability scores increased by 30%. Items produced within the territory will gain bonus effects. Items produced within the territory will gain bonus effects. Items produced within the territory will gain bonus effects. Items produced within the territory will gain bonus effects. Items produced within the territory will gain bonus effects. Items produced within the territory will gain bonus effects. The blacksmith's hammer swung with ease. The designer's sewing machine moved faster than lightning. Watching the effects his territory brought, Jai Rin wore a satisfied grin. Hey, next, it is time to talk business. Scene cuts to a settlement in Chuncheon. Jai Rin and Choi Loi stepped into this territory. This time, they did not activate any stealth effects. They were quickly spotted and intercepted by a bunch of local punks. Jai Rin activated his analysis skill. The leader was a D rank awakened. The others were all E rank or above. No wonder they have managed to survive around here. Looks like they have got some kick to them. Jai Rin introduced himself, stating he was the leader of the Human Alliance. But green hair just picked at his ear, acting like he had not heard of them. The little goons behind him chimed in with some mockery. Facing their arrogance, Zai Lin did not waste his breath. After all, he was here to do business. He asked to meet with their boss, Park Dabong. Greenhair just laughed and mocked him, saying their leader had no time to meet with just any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Seeing their attitude, Zai Lin took the goods out of his storage immediately. These are the items I intend to sell. Take a look for yourselves. Zai Lin was every bit the gentleman as he introduced the goods to Greenhair. People living like savages. How would they have ever seen such high-tech gear? Greenhair was the first to inspect them. An E-rank jacket with a special perk. A sandwich that increases ability stats. This is some real solid tech and good living right here. Zai Lin smiled and said, I am sure I have earned the right to see your leader now. Have not I? Seeing the goods, greed flickered in Greenhair's eyes. This guy is a walking treasure chest. Greenhair suggested. He had a new proposal. Leave the goods and the woman behind, and get the hell out of here. Zai Lin just stared. Zai Lin glanced at Choi Loi and let out a sigh. Wow, you guys really are something else. Never underestimate a woman who can survive in this world. Not to mention her other skills. That clueless idiot Greenhair actually dared to mess with Choi Loi. Bam, 2 punches later. Greenie, go tell the boss. Big Ma, wearing nothing but his green thermal leggings, was pumping iron in the gym. He spotted his lackey reporting in with a bruised face, thinking something went down at the camp. Just then, Zai Lin stepped out from behind Greenie. Hey, I am Zai Lin from the Survivor Alliance. I have got a business proposition for you. While casually greeting Big Ma's entire family, Zai Lin activated his analysis skill. Rank C human. Bodybuilder. That has got to be the highest ranked human Zai Lin has seen since the outbreak. Guess the title Hercules was not just for show. Big Ma did not even have to move. A wave of heavy pressure instantly filled the room. But what really freaked Greenie out was, Zai Lin's presence did not buckle under Big Ma's at all. They just clashed a bit. The two of them just had a brief standoff. That was enough for Big Ma to gauge Zai Lin's strength. He is a sensible guy too. After catching up on the situation, he had Greenie apologize to Zai Lin on his behalf. Then he asked what Zai Lin was here for. Zai Lin stated he was here to sell some gear. Big Ma invited him to the lounge. Zai Lin set his goods out on the table. With a puzzled look, Big Ma picked up a purple rice ball. Eating it boosts your ability stats by 15% for 3 hours. Is this some kind of high-tech hack-as-tech? To Big Ma's questioning, Zai Lin kept nothing back. He told him their own camp cooks made these. Hearing that the cook was also an awakened, Big Ma was quite intrigued. Turns out, in Big Ma's camp, they worship pure physical power. They had not recruited a single awaken with utility skills. He showed real interest in what Zai Lin brought in. He told him to just name his price. 1 ration for 3 red magic stones, and gear or weapons would cost even more. Hearing Zai Lin's quote, Big Ma had a headache. It was way off from the price he had in mind. It really is expensive. Ever since I opened up the domain, I can mass produce these without needing magic stones. But of course, Zai Lin was not about to tell him the production cost. Plus his goal this time was not just to farm magic stones. He explained to Big Ma, the goods, while pricey, could produce results beyond his imagination. Big Ma hesitated. Zai Lin's logic held water. In a pinch, a single sandwich could be the difference between life and death. And with this gear and weaponry, their efficiency in clearing out zombies would skyrocket. Seeing that he had him interested, Zai Lin decided to cut to the chase. He changed his tune and told him he was willing to offer them a discounted, promotional price. 2 rations for 1 red magic stone, and a 70% discount on weapons and gear. Big Ma knew there was no such thing as a free lunch. He asked what the catch was. Zai Lin said it was simple. The 2 camps become allies. The kind with a signed contract. That caught Big Ma off guard. With Zai Lin's power, he did not really need to align with him. Zai Lin spoke calmly. So, have you heard of the indestructible cult? Hearing that, Big Ma finally put 2 and 2 together. Han Won-suk had come to him earlier. Zai Lin explained it to Big Ma. The indestructible cult is not just some run-of-the-mill fake religion. They have got some serious black ops backing them. Then Zai Lin handed over all the intel on the cult, hoping they could join forces and level the playing field. After hearing him out, Big Ma let out a dry laugh. Do you know the rules of our Survivor Alliance? It is survival of the fittest. Ma Ji thrusts out his frying pan-sized fist. If you want an alliance, then you would better show me, not just sweet-talk me. Let us throw down and have a blast. On one side, Ma Ji, landing heavy crits with every swing. On the other, Zai Lin, swinging the iron chain like a force of nature. The showdown between these 2 heavyweights drew quite a crowd of spectators. In this player alliance, might makes right. To convince the other to join forces, Zai Lin knows this fight is not just about winning. He has to win it in style. Against a C-tier brawler like Ma Ji, Zai Lin is not taking any chances. He immediately activates his skills and focuses his power. temporarily boosting his 3 main skills to C tier, merging Heavenly Demon Divine Art and Control. He temporarily triggers Tyrant's Body, starting off with all cheats enabled. A terrifying pressure surges from within Zai Lin, sweeping across the entire scene. The spectators are stunned. Did he just pop some kind of steroid? Greenhair's jaw hit the floor. The sheer pressure is even crazier than when Ma Ji cornered him that night. All buffs applied. Zai Lin eyes Ma Ji with a sinister smirk. Ma Ji flashes a grin right back. Zai Lin is definitely strong, but that just fuels his hunger for battle. Stance set, aura fully unleashed. Ma Ji immediately triggers his Titanize skill. With a thunderous boom, Ma Ji becomes massive and rock hard, his biceps alone wider than Zai Lin's waist. Seeing their boss enter powerhouse mode, the underlings know he is finally going all out. Ma Ji drives off the ground, launching into the air like a rocket, but then pure shock washes over his face. Zai Lin did not even budge. Did he lose his mind? This move makes Ma Ji think he is being looked down on. He maxes out his power, concentrating it into his fists. This time he is ending Zai Lin for good. The energy on his fist has become physical. A massive thud rings out. Ma Ji descends from the sky, a violent shockwave sweeping the arena. The spectators gasp in disbelief. With that single blow, the dueling ground is practically in ruins. Yet Zai Lin stands there unfazed, blocking Ma Ji's attack with one hand. Ma Ji is stunned. Zai Lin chuckles. Hey, my bad. I am using hacks. Ma Ji is not giving up yet, veins bulging all over his body. He pushes his power even further. With a roar, Ma Ji finally unleashes the full weight of his strength, but his eyes just widen further in horror. He can't feel a single trace of his opponent's aura. In pure disbelief, he turns his head. Zai Lin has already teleported behind him, fist glowing with cold blue light, the counterattack fully charged. With a boom, the fist connects. Ma Ji goes flying backward. The entire crowd stands there with open mouths. Stopping himself, Ma Ji spits out a mouthful of blood. The stronger Zai Lin gets, the more excited he becomes. Maybe this is what mutual respect between legends feels like. Both men steady themselves, clashing once again, pouring every ounce of power into this strike. This one will settle the score, just a friendly spar. Zai Lin got a black eye, but Ma Ji had to check into the ICU, wearing nothing but his suspenders. Let us be real, Zai Lin is still the better pick. Park Dabong was totally impressed by Zai Lin's raw power. The two of them struck a mutual defense alliance. Zai Lin gave him a polite return gesture. He treated him with some medical arts. Meanwhile, Zai Lin's first convenience store opened in Park Dabong's turf, just as they agreed upon. The prices were set to his liking. Kim Tae Min became the manager of the store. The store's opening day was a massive hit. 2 food items for just 1 red magic stone, and E-grade equipment for only 1 orange magic stone. Such a steal, it felt like freebies to them. In just 1 week, the store banked 1,500 red magic stones and 250 orange magic stones, and they still could not keep up with the demand. Zai Lin had Choi Loi hand out 10% of the magic stones as bonuses to the assembly line workers. The rest were saved for future city construction. Just as they were discussing the city's blueprint, Yellow Hair burst in. He reported that his scout team stumbled upon something insane. Autonomous robots. Hearing that, Zai Lin could not just sit still. Yellow Hair told Zai Lin, a week ago, he sent out his crows to patrol. They found a bunch of spider-shaped robots in an abandoned factory, and a ton of them, too. More importantly, he did not find any magic stones on them, which means these robots have nothing to do with the zombies. Zai Lin started crunching the numbers in his head. If that is the case, it clearly signifies the owner is likely an awakener with a mechanical ability. If I can recruit that talent to the camp, who knows, maybe I can build a mobile base. At that thought, Zai Lin could not wait a second longer. He hopped on his bike and sped off. Reaching the abandoned factory, Yellow Hair mentioned. Zai Lin and Yi Zio snuck around to scope it out. Just as the report said, the place was crawling with spider drones. Zai Lin activated his analysis skill. F-grade creation. A robot infused with skills. Seems to have some primitive AI. Looks like this trip was not a waste, regardless of who the big shot is. This time, I am definitely making them mine. In this post-apocalyptic world, what is it like to have the power to create mechs? Zai Lin's heart raced as soon as he saw the spider bots. He decided to go meet the master of these mechs. Getting to the warehouse entrance, the spider robots immediately surrounded them. Red laser sights locked onto both of them. Hard cold barrels poked at their backs. Zai Lin raised his hands with a grin. Easy, do not tense up. I just want to have a little chat with your master. The spider robot emitted a mechanical sound. Individual identified. Intruder detected. Hostile action confirmed. Engaging now. The next second, a streak of light cut across the sky. With a bang, a little black fellow dropped down. Guardian Scout Robot. Wilson. E-grade creation. A robot infused with skills. Seems to have top-tier AI. Wilson stood with hands on his hips. he said impatiently. So you two are the ones itching to talk to the master. Drop the weapons and follow me. If you dare try to use mana, I will take you two down in a heartbeat. Jae-rin did not waste time on small talk. He followed him into the warehouse. Jae-rin scanned his surroundings with curiosity. The machinery here was way more advanced than he would imagined. Suddenly, Wilson stopped in his tracks. All the lights around them flickered on. A group of robots that looked way too smart descended upon them. Their heavy guns were pointed straight at Jae-rin and his companion. You are both awakeners, are not you? What do you want with me? Jae-rin replied with a smirk. I just want to invite you to my base. Just then, a camera in the corner made a sound. Invite me. Are you guys also lapdogs for the indestructible sect? Hearing that, Jae-rin felt a jolt of alarm. To think the indestructible sect got here first. Jae-rin clarified his identity. He told them he was with the Zhongyuan Island Human Alliance, not part of the indestructible sect. The only reason he came to find him is because he had a very interesting project in mind, building a colossal moving fortress. Listening to Jae-rin's pitch, the man let out a laugh. Been watching too many movies, have you? Jae-rin put his phone away and tried to explain. He had the funds, the crew, and the materials, as opposed to the guy who'd been holed up in this cramped space all day, whose thinking had clearly stagnated. Jae-rin's sarcasm immediately ticked them off. He warned Jae-rin to get a grip on reality. Saying that, he ordered his robots to lock and load. In that tense blade-on-blade moment, Isol let out a dismissive scoff. You really have no idea who you are dealing with. The next second, a massive pressure exploded from within Isol. Detecting the use of mana, it prepared to strike, but Wilson quickly stepped forward to stop his master's move. He was absolutely furious. Wilson, what the hell are you doing? Master, I have detected the opponent's strength exceeds our projections. If we fight, we will lose 100%. Hitting the electronic wooden fish. Getting the scriptures. Even though Jae-rin did not come to worship the Mecha Buddha, he was definitely aiming to acquire the skill to craft mecha humans. Isol's display of power made them realize who was really in charge. Jae-rin held Isol back and said with a smile, wishing for both sides to actually sit down and talk. A moment later, a large door inside the room rolled open. A girl with blonde hair walked out, hugging her arms. In such a confined, isolated environment, seeing other humans for the first time, she was understandably a bit uneasy. Jae-rin activated his analysis skill. Lasha, E-rank human, mechanical engineer, currently on guard. Jae-rin and his buddy greeted him with a friendly smile. But just 2 sentences in, Wilson detected his master's heart rate rising from fear. Seeing this, Jae-rin quickly cast a soothing skill. Under that mental calming influence, Lasha's nerves gradually settled. Jae-rin showed he wanted to have an in-depth conversation. Wilson kept a sharp eye on them. He invited them into the guest room. After a brief chat, Jae-rin had a comprehensive understanding of the blonde girl. Lasha's father was a chief engineer. He had studied abroad and came here to intern at this factory. Never thought he would run into a zombie plague, and ended up getting trapped here ever since. Jae-rin looked around the room. The place was packed with drinks and packs of instant noodles. Instant noodles, no wonder he managed to hold out here for so long. No wonder he is held up for so long. He told Lasha, even though he has got plenty of supplies, he can't just hole up in here forever, right? Then he showed Lasha his base. Checking out the photos on Jae-rin's phone, Lasha was impressed, especially by his mobile fortress upgrade plan. Jae-rin was equally intrigued by this smart housekeeper, Wilson. He asked Lasha if he could mass-produce this cute little guy. Lasha explained that Wilson was just a stroke of luck. He tried many times after that, but they all failed. Simply put, Wilson's creation was pure dumb luck. Jae-rin went into deep thought, then changed the subject. He asked about the indestructible cult. Lasha confirmed that they had actually come looking for him. He had Wilson pull up the previous recording. As the room lights dimmed, a projection beamed out from Wilson's head. The people from the cult were wearing masks. They were being blocked outside by the spider bots. Their leader, Han Sang-wook, called Lasha a son of God, demanding he join them immediately. Lasha did not agree. He ordered the robots to drive them away. Neither side threw a punch. Han Sang-wook said he would give them some time. They would be back later. If he still did not agree to join, things would not be as easy as they were today. Looking at the timestamp on the footage, Jae-rin frowned. He did not think the cult would reach this place so quickly. He reassured Lasha, as long as she came back to his camp, he would protect her. Lasha was hesitant. Ever since the zombie outbreak, she had not left this place. However, Jae-rin cut her off, sounding authoritative. No matter what choice she makes, he won't let her go. Just then, Wilson raised a question. It was about how Jae-rin's base stores its food. Jae-rin gave a slight smile. Why would we need to store it? We grow it fresh and eat it fresh. Hearing that Jae-rin's base had real vegetables, Lasha's eyes lit up. Jae-rin told her, they have awakened farmers in their camp, and even chefs to process the goods. Hearing this, Lasha did not hesitate anymore. She immediately agreed to leave with Zai Lin, but just as they stepped out of the warehouse, the cult had already arrived. Looks like a massive showdown is inevitable. This is totally absurd. The apocalypse does not just have half-breed zombies. Now we have got human-type zombies popping up too. Zai Lin activated his analysis skill and checked their stats, feeling taken aback. The world really has gone crazy lately. Seeing the mob, Lasha hid behind Zai Lin in fear. Han Sang-wook looked at Lasha with a smug grin. Kid, come here into my arms, or I will have their heads. Zai Lin stared at him, expressionless. He just felt the man was a total moron. Han Sang-wook sensed that the people opposite were mocking him like a clown, and was instantly steaming with rage. It was not just him. The little minions behind him were also fuming. Han Sang-wook raised his cane and yelled, "Attack!" The minions charged in like a tidal wave. Zai Lin stood his ground without flinching, and Yi Shu had already shifted into a fighting stance. They are not even human anymore, so just let loose and go wild. Hearing Zai Lin's command, Yi Shu felt no more guilt in her heart. Zai Lin snapped into a combat stance in one fluid motion. Whoosh! Zai Lin lunged forward, even though I could not see the dark vent opening. That deep gash stopped the lead zombie dead in its tracks. Where are you looking? Zai Lin delivered a vicious axe kick to the zombie's face, snapping its neck instantly, revealing the rotting face beneath the mask. Zai Lin was taken aback. Even though I was prepared, the guy was seriously hideous. The zombie swung its weapon in a rage. Zai Lin dodged with ease. Just headbutting won't be enough. Need to dismantle his limbs. Using his hands as blades, Zai Lin charged into the crowd. Severed limbs flew everywhere. Cries of agony filled the air. The remaining zombies froze, too terrified to advance. Meanwhile, Vincent activated his battle mode. Mechanical arms burst from his back, initiating mass slaughter. With the mechanical arms paired with the Gatling gun, the zombies were shredded to bits. Within just 2.5 seconds, the zombies were basically done for. Han Sang-wook was absolutely livid. He raised both hands and began chanting, "O undying god of Theta, I offer you these sacrifices. Grant your servant forbidden power." Listening to his words, Zai Lin activated his analysis skill. So, this is some sort of sacrificial ritual. And the gibberish is just like what I saw back there. Are these people part of some cult? As the incantation ended, black smoke billowed from the zombies, including those who had not fully turned into undead yet. They let out agonizing screams, begging for someone to put them out of their misery. Zai Lin tried using heal on one of them, only to find the skill was useless on the undead. The black smoke filtered into a white mist and gathered in Han Sang-wook's hands. He opened his mouth and swallowed it all. His body started changing rapidly. Hey, ready to face my wrath? Good grief, why did these zombies always want to evolve? Han Sang-wook ate a load of crap, and now his spine is popping out, a massive bony protrusion. 2 wings sprouted out, 3 pairs of glowing green eyes, and a mouth full of fangs like a moray eel. Zai Lin took a look with mild interest. 0 stars. This freak does not even know how to spit. Han Sang-wook's greasy green eyes burned bright, betraying his sheer rage. He lunged at Zai Lin like a wild animal. Too bad having so many eyes just makes your aim scattered. His punch missed completely. Zai Lin countered with a punch of his own. Seeing that brute force was not working, Han Sang-wook pulled his own spine out as a weapon. No guns, make your own, otherwise go home and farm rice. Han Sang-wook swung his spinal club at Zai Lin. Zai Lin leapt up, a 1080-degree spin in the air, and struck down hard. Han Sang-wook was wiped out instantly, but before he even hit the ground, Zai Lin's flurry of punches followed up, a flawless, seamless chain of attacks. Hit after hit landed. Han Sang-wook was completely disoriented. Zai Lin did not even give him a chance to talk back. One final punch right to his skull. Han Sang-wook is dead. Willie started cleaning up the battlefield. Yi Shu asked Zai Lin with some curiosity. Zai Lin did not know either, but he knew one thing. This message needed to reach Park Da-bong as soon as possible. Back at the camp, LaShaw finally got the vegetable salad he had been dreaming of, and even moved into the large dormitory. This only solidified his and Willie's resolve to keep serving Zai Lin. Tonight, they would start practicing the first move of the 72 kung fu techniques, old tree roots. On the other side, Zai Lin found Park Da-bong. He had turned the green long johns he wore during their last sparring match into a tank top. Zai Lin told him everything he had seen. Park Da-bong looked particularly excited. He impatiently asked Zai Lin about the timing of the strike. Zai Lin said once their forces moved in closer, the two sides would join forces for a pincer attack. Park Da-bong agreed enthusiastically. Meanwhile, at the headquarters of the Undying Cult, The cult master was kneeling reverently before the only cause. Suddenly, the only cause emitted a violent tremor. The cult master immediately ordered his subordinates to summon the high deacons. Once everyone had gathered, the cult master spoke in a low voice. The divinities just told me. An evil person is obstructing our plans. At what stage is the mass production of the undying army now? Replying to the cult master, we have already cultivated 10,000, and we are still continuing to reinforce them. The cult master slowly rose to his feet. Since that is the case, it is time to accept the divine will. The time for the offensive has come. Let the battle begin. 7,000 humanoid zombies swarmed forth, splitting into 4 paths to invade human territory. Zai Lin received the news and notified Park Da-bong immediately. The two parties agreed on how to divide and defend against the zombie assault. The battle between the Alliance and the Undying Cult officially began. As the numbers piled up, the Undying Cult's performance was far from ideal. Just then at the Undying Cult's camp, a woman with a dark expression was listening to the battle report. This was the 7th deacon of the Undying Cult, Hannah. She was one of the individuals in charge of attacking Zai Lin's territory. Deacon, the bastards on the mountain are putting up a stubborn defense. We might need a bit more time. The subordinate had not even finished his sentence before Hannah choked him through the air. Hey, are you joking with me? You said the same thing yesterday. The subordinate begged for mercy, his face streaming with tears. Hannah tossed him aside like trash. Can't even handle a bunch of bugs. I will have to deal with this myself. On the battlefield, the sound of gunfire was non-stop. Artillery fire lit up the sky. Hannah extended her palm with a look of impatience. A black tornado appeared out of thin air. The whirlwind struck the battlefield. The human alliance was swept into the sky before they could even react. The tide of battle shifted in an instant. Soldiers who were not affected opened fire at Hannah frantically, but she simply raised a finger and deflected all the bullets back at them. And that was not all. The black energy she unleashed could even control her opponents, forcing them to slaughter their own teammates. Within moments, the human alliance had suffered heavy losses. Hannah hummed a little tune as she strolled through the battlefield. In her eyes, the human alliance was just a pile of waste. Suddenly, a thunderous boom erupted from behind her. A nearby grunt was blown to bits in an instant. Scanning around, she saw a group of tanks pointing their cannons at her. Fully armed soldiers charged forward. The Undying Cult's grunts were no match for them. Witnessing this scene, Han Na-eun is getting restless. Damn it. These bugs are just endless. He snaps his fingers. A dark tornado swirls toward the human alliance once more. At the critical moment, an iron chain wreathed in blue flames lash out, striking fiercely. The dark tornado vanishes in an instant. Zai Lin stands amidst the crowd, his face cold and emotionless. He retracts the chain, eyes locked onto his opponent. Han Na-eun glances at Zai Lin with a haughty sneer. Hey, this is interesting. A new variant. A telekinetic. To think a human awakener would stoop to becoming a zombie, and you love looking down your nose at people. Like being a zombie gives you some kind of superiority complex. For a woman like that, Zai Lin is not about to show any mercy. Blue flames dance along the iron chain on his arms. Zai Lin coils his strength ready to strike. Seeing this, Han Na-eun lets out a mocking laugh. You look absolutely pathetic. How about we play a game of tearing off bug legs? As she speaks, Han Na-eun unleashes her telekinesis. Several wisps of black smoke coil around Zai Lin's limbs. Hey, I am going to rip your limbs off. Doesn't that sound fun? Zai Lin remains impassive. You talk way too much. Are you done with your last words? Activate Dominion. Activate Dominion. Expend 400 force. Expend 4 units of force. A wave of pressure surges up from under Zai Lin's feet. Han Na-eun's telekinesis is scattered in an instant. She stares at Zai Lin, completely dumbfounded. But Zai Lin is already gathering power for his next move. 5-chain whip technique. Zai Lin rushes in. Han Na-eun grits her teeth and raises her hands, trying to intercept him. But for just a second, she freezes. Her supposedly invincible telekinesis could not even hold for 2.5 seconds. She lets out a sharp cry. The force from Zai Lin's fist leaves her completely defenseless. Gotcha. Zai Lin maneuvers to put distance between them. Han Na-eun's expression turns dark. Black telekinetic energy wraps around her arms. Her palms are regrowing right before his eyes. She floats midair, letting out an angry roar. Just disappear already. 2 dense waves of black energy clamp down on Zai Lin's arms. Blood trickles from the corner of Han Na-eun's mouth. That must be the absolute limit of her telekinetic push. However, Zai Lin simply yells out. With a slight exertion, he breaks free. He lunges toward Han Na-eun at high speed. With one large hand, he clamps onto her neck. Han Na-eun tries to use her telekinesis to break his grip, but Zai Lin's hand holds her fast like an iron vice. Disappear. Blue pool. Zai Lin exerts force in his hand, snapping Han Na-eun's neck. He thought it was over. The remaining bugs did not pose much of a threat. But right then, Jae Rin notices Han Na-eun's body is still twitching. Good grief. Her neck is broken and she is still breathing. Jae Rin unleashes his full power. Han Na-eun's body gradually dissipates. He grits his teeth and initiates the offering ritual. A wave of black smoke rises from the bugs. They all fall, wailing. A blast echoes in Jae Rin's hand. Hana exploded. Jae Rin was knocked back several meters. He looked again and was stunned. What the hell? How did she turn into a fish? What a rare sight. A mutant, actually capable of giving birth to a woman. Hana performed a ritual before her death. Her body transformed into a fish-like creature. Two tentacles tore open a small crack. The reshaped Hana crawled out. Beneath those flashy wings was a body reeking of that distinct sheep-like stench. The soldiers were all completely intoxicated by that smell. Even that old man Guoduba was mesmerized. He was itching to jump in and have a go. Jae Rin watched her with a deadpan expression. Hana had some decent power after her rebirth, but not much. She was still looking down on everyone with cold arrogance. She was currently at her peak form. She did not believe Jae Rin could stay this cocky for long, but she severely underestimated the power of the protagonist's plot armor. Jae Rin activated a special skill. All offensive skills were boosted. A massive surge of energy erupted from within him. It instantly dissipated the pheromone effect Hana had released. This shocked her, and a fire of rage ignited in her heart. Just a pathetic ant. You think you can just dissipate my aura? She lashed out with her whip, aiming straight for Jae Rin. As the ground exploded repeatedly, Hana's expression became increasingly twisted. Are you little pests ready for a taste of my brine? But as soon as she finished speaking, Jae Rin caught her whip with one hand. Hana looked stunned. She actually dared to catch my whip, and with such immense strength too. Jae Rin smirked. He then put force into his arms. Hana was flipped upside down. Her body did a perfect 180-degree spin. She almost face-planted hard. She muttered a curse, completely unwilling to yield. The moment she stopped speaking, black smoke began to rise from the dead pests. Then their forms began to shift. One after another, razor-toothed zombies emerged. Hana hovered in midair, flapping her wings. She triggered her telekinesis. The surrounding boulders swirled along with her flamboyant energy. Jae Rin watched the scene coldly and sneered. Women are such a headache. But today, I am definitely going to send you to the clouds. Wherever his fist landed, it was pure destruction. Flashy Hana had her human skin stripped away. She desperately activated her skill, trying to take him down with her. Jae Rin laughed dismissively. Hey, you do not even have skin to cover yourself, yet you want to strip off my clothes. You are absolutely delusional. No. It is my turn to have some fun with you lot. A woman who does not even have skin yet still wants to put up a fight. Jae Rin flashed behind Hana in an instant. A dense, solidified hand blade pierced through Hana's chest. Hana gasped in horror. Her body was constantly attempting to repair the injury. Jae Rin laughed dismissively. Hey, the power of immortality, is it? Let me see how long you can keep that up today. Jae Rin did not let up on his grip. Hana let out a series of agonizing screams. Under this kind of persistent damage, even the king of hell would get punched in the face. Unsurprisingly, Hana bit the dust. Meanwhile, over on his side, Ma Go had also encountered a high priest. It was even more miserable than Hana's fate. He did not even get the chance to transform before Ma Go finished him off. 2 out of the 4 squads had been wiped out in succession. The Undying sect also received the order to retreat, but they did not make it in time. Jae Rin was already hot on their heels. Xiao Shensu, a new variant, level 1 sentinel. Under his cloak, that guy was bald as a cue ball. Too bad he is a blade wielder. Xiao Shensu was fast, but not as fast as a cheater like me. We only traded one move, and I already lost interest in this fight. I planned to have Li Sul handle him instead. Who would have thought his henchman would pop out right then? Xiao Shensu sacrificed his teammates to the heavens. The small fry turned into black smoke and were absorbed. Unlike Na-eun, Xiao Shensu evolved into a skeleton clad in armor. He was so grateful to me for letting him taste that power boost. I do not know whether to laugh or cry. You really have no clue about true power. Xiao Shensu flashed behind me. Wants to launch a sneak attack, huh? Too bad those cheap tricks can't escape my eyes. With one effortless move, I parried and sent him flying. Xiao Shensu looked in total disbelief. He thought his speed had doubled by more than a factor. He swung his dual blades at me. This time, I did not even bother opening my eyes. Heavenly Demon Divine Art, second style. Random punches beat the master. The wind from my fists lunged at Xiao Shensu like a savage tiger. After one hit, his armor was blown to pieces. All that was left of Xiao Shensu was a bare bony frame. I strolled up to him, whistling a little tune. I grabbed him by the throat. No need to look so pathetic. Your sect leader will be joining you soon enough. Crunch. Xiao Shensu's skull shattered under my grip. Cleared out the Undying sect from the eastern sector. I rendezvoused with Park Da-bong. Park Da-bong told me he could have wiped out 2 of their major branches himself, but they caught wind of it and skedaddled. I told him it did not matter. As it stands, our defensive battle was a success, but we can't just rely on defense to finish this for good. I suggested we team up and storm their main hideout. Park Da-bong happily agreed. I just wonder, what kind of zombie the sect leader will evolve into this time? Kneel to the heavens, kneel to the earth, kneel to the boss. The Undying sect actually made a statue to worship him. Information I dug up through yellow hair. Found where the Undying sect is holding the hostages. Activate analyze skill. I realize this place is where they drain human life force. I gave a cold stare. Looks like it is time to wreck this joint. Rush toward the platform. Dispatch the patrolling guards in the blink of an eye. I headed inside the building. Meanwhile, inside, a group of skin and bone humans were catching their breath on the floor. The Undying sect goons were picking out more recruits. Join us if you want to breathe, they said. Otherwise, get drained dry right here. For survival. Some gave in, and the rest were locked up to be turned into sacrifices. That is when I showed up. Without a word, I unleashed the 5-chain whip. The cultists were wiped out. The captives were set free, too. Time to level this place to the ground. The iron chain lashed out violently. The building was sliced in half. Green rotting flesh splattered everywhere. An eyeball was locked dead on me. I will remember you, human. I just smirked. Don't bother remembering me. I will be coming for you soon. As he said that, Zai Lin stomped on the guy, crushing him. Afterward, Zai Lin found many more places like this. It is just a pity that even after wiping them out, he could not save those who had already passed. Park Da-bong was a bit pissed. He could not wait to storm their headquarters right then and there. On that note, Zai Lin felt exactly the same way. Instead of lure them out slowly, why not clear them out in one go? The two were of one mind. Their bond deepened at that very moment. For the first time, Park Da-bong showed some genuine appreciation for Zai Lin. It allowed him to successfully acquire the enemy's giant form skill. Meanwhile, outside the headquarters of the Undying cult, countless zombies hung around, waiting for their cult leader's command. Suddenly, the stone gates of the hall burst open. The leader stepped out, draped in yellow robes. Children, it is time to fight them to the death. The zombies went into a frenzy. At the same time, Guo Duba's armored unit charged in. Zai Lin led the charge, activating his analytical skill. Choi Myung-ho, a new type of mutant, a servant of the false god. Damn it. I did not expect the cult leader to start turning into a zombie too. Seeing Zai Lin's troops, Choi Myung-ho let out a roar. Great God, I offer myself to you. Please grant me a complete body. At that moment, the Undying cult followers went fanatical. A black tornado erupted out of thin air. Zai Lin and the others watched the events unfold with cold indifference. As the black tornado dissipated, Choi Myung-ho had evolved into a full-blown zombie. You foolish humans, are you ready to become my fodder? As a loyal believer of the only God, Choi Myung-ho evolved to grow 6 arms. Come to think of it, he should thank a mere mortal like Zai Lin. The evolution ritual was originally supposed to take half a year to prepare, but because of their arrival, the god of the only caused a breakthrough, transforming him into a zombie. In return, he decided to give Zai Lin a chance to walk the path of the Undying with him. Li Xiaobo glanced back at the corpses behind him. You sure know how to bluff. Don't forget all those corpses back there are your own doing. True enough, this successful evolution would not have been possible without the sacrifice of our little ones. Choi Myung-ho let out a low growl. The Undying cult never abandons its followers. As he spoke, white smoke suddenly rose from the bodies on the ground. Rise up, children of the Undying. As Choi Myung-ho finished his words, the dead zombies and followers suddenly shrieked as they stood up. They raised their hands to the sky, as if worshipping their deity. Talk about being cringy. Choi Myung-ho asked Zai Lin one last time if they wanted to join them. Before Zai Lin could answer, green hair behind him gave them a straight middle finger. The scene erupted in laughter. Choi Myung-ho was shaking with rage. You insects! How incredibly brazen. He pointed a finger at green hair. Swish. An energy beam fired out. Just as it was about to hit green hair, Zai Lin appeared out of nowhere. The iron chains on his arms deflected the attack instantly. Choi Myung-ho's face darkened. So, that is your answer then. My loyal believers. Time to deal with these guys. The zombie minions are charging in. The human alliance is not holding back either. Park Da-bong's battle car is in the lead. Lasha is also deploying the spider robots to charge. Both sides engage in an all-out war. Zai Lin, Maji, and Yishu quickly reach Choi Myung-ho. Zai Lin exchanges a quick look with them. The three charge in from different angles. Death mist fills the air everywhere. Zai Lin receives a system warning. You have absorbed the death mist. Your vitality is being devoured. And that is not all. Yishu also feels her power being gradually drained. Maji's temper finally snaps. Maji's temper finally snaps. He lunges head-on towards Choi Myung-ho's face. Give us a kiss, baby. At the same time, Yishu's high kick lands as well. Choi Myung-ho uses all 6 of his arms to block the attacks. Just then, Jae Rin lashes out with his big whip. The 3 keep up their relentless assault. Choi Myung-ho is battered and bruised, but for just a second, he recovers as if nothing happened. You can't kill me. This is immortal power. Ma Ji-e does not believe it. He grits his teeth and charges again. However, this time, Choi Myung-ho just sticks out an arm and almost crunches Ma Ji's face in. Hey, foolish humans, the more I recover, the stronger I become, while you lot only weaken in the death mist. Time to end this. Possessing an immortal body, and the trait of getting stronger when wounded, Choi Myung-ho must be the most successful evolution among the zombies. Too bad. Jae Rin is a pure skill build player. Activate special ability. Always using special abilities and governance. Activate special ability. Synthesize gold tier skill, enhance governance. 3 main attack skills enhanced. Main attack skills enhanced, critical points unlocked. Merge Heavenly Demon Divine Art and Governance. Generate temporary Heavenly Demon Divine Art Tyrant Body. Merge Heavenly Demon Divine Art and Governance. Generate Tyrant Body. You think it is over. Not yet. Jae Rin activates the giant form effect. Fists larger than woks rain down like a storm. Choi Myung-ho's face is pummeled and distorted. But what surprises him more is his own regeneration speed can't keep up with Jae Rin's destructive power. Jae Rin notices this too. While throwing punches, he keeps mocking the opponent. Choi Myung-ho is pushed to a corner and getting desperate. He raises his staff, trying to fight back hard, but in a clash of pure strength. How could a mage win against a monster? He stops him in his tracks. Jae Rin mocks him lightly. Hey, this godly power does not look like much, huh? Jae Rin delivers a calculated blast punch that sends him flying. Choi Myung-ho is left with a deep fist mark on his abdomen. He frantically orders his subordinates to take the hit for him. Too bad, Jae Rin is not fighting alone. Ma Ji's little steel fists and Yishu's razor-sharp kicks make dealing with the minions a breeze. Jae Rin nods slightly, preparing to focus on Choi Myung-ho. But just then, the enemy activates a magic circle. You mortals who resist God, prepare to face a cruel end. Choi Myung-ho bares his teeth. A wave of dark smoke lunged straight at Jae Rin. Jae Rin's heart skipped a beat. Before he could react, he was struck. Yet the anticipated impact never came. Jae Rin was swallowed by a vortex of black mist. Within the darkness, only those blood-red eyes of Choi Loi were visible. Jae Rin felt as if he had drifted into a monochrome world. Suddenly, the system sent an alert. Contact established with the entity's aura. Next second, a massive eyeball emerged. Human, we meet again. Jae Rin broke into a cold sweat. Isn't this that big-eyed monster from the memory? Did I get dragged into his mental realm again? While he was lost in thought, the monster unleashed a white fog. Jae Rin triggered his chain ability, exploding with raw power to finish him off. But the result was disappointing. The chains were completely blocked by the eye monster, and he found his own limbs ensnared by that dark mist. In this state, Jae Rin's life force was being rapidly drained. Suddenly, the kingly aura within him engaged in a counter-rebellion. A towering human phantom manifested behind him. The eye monster looked stunned. Who are you? The phantom ignored him and spoke calmly to Jae Rin. Young man, I will demonstrate this once. Watch closely. The phantom threw a punch like a tornado aimed at the monster's eye. Such terrifying might behind a single strike. Jae Rin received a system prompt. You have witnessed the perfect heavenly demon divine art. Comprehension reached its limit. Total God mode activated. Utterly lethal. Jae Rin's internal phantom wiped out the monster with that one punch. He had perfectly mastered the essence of the heavenly demon divine art. Returning from the memory world, Choi Loi looked incredulous. That is the forbidden realm of gods. How could he have escaped? He grabbed his ally Green Hair, threatening Jae Rin to back off. But before he could finish, he felt a chilly sensation across his wrist. Jae Rin moved faster than lightning to save Green Hair, and incidentally severed one of Choi Loi's hands. Blue dragon flames engulfed his severed stump, burning fiercely. What shocked him even more was, he could not regenerate. That is right. After finishing off the god behind him, Choi Loi had lost all the power that was granted to him. Jae Rin gathered his strength into his right fist. That punch the phantom showed him was deeply etched into his muscle memory. A wind-driven punch like a dragon storm lashed out at Choi Loi. With destructive force, it punched clear through half his body. At the same time, all the zombies nearby were suddenly engulfed in thick, rolling smoke. The scene was filled with endless wailing. Choi Loi collapsed. Purple lightning streaked across the sky. Trembling, he raised his remaining arm and whispered, "Oh my god, your humble servant is here." Please save me. But the only response he got was a thunderbolt. The purple lightning illuminated the entire land. Jae-rin's system sent an alert. The entity has descended upon its own sacrificial ground. Jae-rin's heart raced. Is this guy freaking crazy? That massive eye zombie actually showed up in person. Choi Loi let out a series of miserable laughs. Dark smoke descended from the heavens, absorbing his broken body into the void. Jae-rin's expression turned grim. It seems the god of that cult is finally showing its face, even if it is not a true god. But they definitely are not easy to pin down. Jae-rin stared intently at the sky. Suddenly, his system pinged him. Descending now. Judging by the current timestamp, it can't maintain any active existence. Initiating override permission. Jae-rin looked completely baffled. What the hell does that even mean? The entity let out a furious scream. This goddamn system. Thunderous iron chains wrapped around the body of Choi Myung-ho, suppressing the target's power to match the current level. Before Jae-rin could process the alerts, Choi Myung-ho's body returned to its human form. Jae-rin walked up to him with a cold stare. Before finishing him off, Jae-rin needed to figure out exactly what those prompts meant. Activate, analyze skill. Sure enough, Choi Myung-ho's mind had been taken over. Before Jae-rin could even open his mouth, the guy stood up first. I see potential in you. If we team up, we could change so many things. Jae-rin scoffed. Look at the time, and you are still trying to sweet-talk me. You are a real piece of work, are not you? So, do you think I am the devil? What? If not the devil, are you an angel, then? No sooner had he finished speaking than a pair of huge white wings sprouted from Choi Myung-ho's back. Though I am no angel, I can offer you an angelic piece of advice. Don't you want revenge on the one who started all this? In truth, I am a victim just like you. A homeless spirit whose very homeland was burned to ashes. Beyond our own planet, there is a world where humans received manna's blessing and built a glorious civilization upon it. The false god currently possessing Choi Myung-ho was their guardian deity, Ishtaros. Hearing this, Jae-rin was stunned. Why would a planet's guardian deity be mixed up with zombies? Ishtaros told Jae-rin that their planet was annihilated in a single night. The flames consumed everything. Those who survived were turned into zombies. Even as a guardian deity, he was powerless to stop it. A monster with horns was the one who invaded them, and even he was just a low-level commander. The zombies were merely a tool for their conquest. It is not just your world. Many other planets across the universe are facing the same catastrophe. The enemy did not destroy Ishtaros, but turned him into a zombie soldier. To have his revenge, he must grow stronger, and this planet he stands on must be destroyed as soon as possible. He wanted Jae-rin to join him. He claimed that even if Earth were to fall, he would ensure everyone stayed safe. Jae-rin laughed. So this sack of trash just wants to devour Earth to power up his revenge. Looks like he is not a false god after all. He is just a bull's hit deity. Jae-rin rejected him without a second thought. Seeing his sales pitch fail, Ishtaro's face twisted in rage. With a thunderous crash, the true body of Ishtaros descended. He was radiating pure murderous intent. His bulging eyes looked like they had been slapped on with cheap makeup. Foolish humans, you have picked the wrong side. Jae-rin gave a faint smirk. Hey, I am not on your side. So, what are you gonna do about it? No sooner had Jae-rin finished his sentence, the teammates behind me finally moved up. Guoduba's tank division fired the first shot. Istharos is furious now. That giant fanged maw unleashes a deafening roar. He stomps down hard. A bottomless pit splits open across the ground. Everyone is struck with terror. Jae-rin and the others manage to dodge just in time, but the rest of the soldiers are not so lucky. Some tanks and troops could not escape the collapse, falling directly into the abyss. Seeing this, Lasha tells Wilson to get them out. Wilson dispatches the spider droids to crawl into the chasm. Web threads shoot out toward the falling soldiers, catching them just in time. Too bad those war machines are all scrapped now. Jae-rin is absolutely pissed. He charges straight at Istharos, with just a single wave of his hand. Purple lightning crashes down from the sky. Jae-rin gets blasted back. A huge group of soldiers takes the hit. Even Guoduba's tanks are instantly paralyzed. Damn it. The human alliance is suffering heavy losses. Watching the massive magic circle in the sky, Jae-rin knits his brows. Istharos' power is way beyond what I expected. Unless I use that kingly strike from my memory, I won't even be able to scratch his magic barrier. Jae-rin calms his breathing and steadies his stance. His body rockets forward like a cannonball, gathering every ounce of power into his fist. A punch with the strength to shatter everything in its path. Istharos is stunned by this blow. How is he channeling that kind of aura? Did he master that power so quickly? Fear flickers in Istharos' eyes for the first time. Jae-rin's fist is upon him. He tries to block it with a surge of death energy, but Jae-rin, like a sprinting leopard, smashes right through the barrier. He swings his fist, closing the gap. Eat this, you freak. Take my punch. Jae-rin's fist connects. Istharos' eyes instantly go bloodshot. At the same time, the human soldiers pour all their fire on him. Istharos is in a world of hurt. Jae-rin's punch, imbued with the king's aura, aura strikes again. Istharos raises his arms to block, but then comes the sickening sound of bone snapping. How is this possible? Istharos's entire body is pulverized by the impact. He stares at Jae-rin in utter disbelief. I never thought that I would actually lose. You are strong, kid. But we will meet again. Jae-rin grins. Hey, next time we meet, it will be at your funeral. With a quick jab, Jae-rin pops the last of his eyeballs. Incredible achievement. Successfully hunted Istharos's manifestation avatar. Special skill, loot acquired. Special skill, plunder acquired. Skill loot is now active. Use of stolen skills lasts for 3 days. You can now steal 1 skill from your opponent for 3 days. Looking at the system rewards, Jae-rin smiles faintly. Hey, the heavens are really on my side. The indestructible cult has been crushed, but Jae-rin can't afford to rest yet. He remembers Han Won-sok from the Intelligence Bureau warned him that Jeju Island has also been occupied by the indestructible cult, and many high-ranking officials, including the president, are tied to them. Now that Istharos has fallen, they are bound to be in chaos. I need to get there as soon as possible. Just then, Green Hair ran over to report, saying an intelligence deputy director and a general were here to meet him. Jae-rin was puzzled. The deputy director had to be Han Won-sok, but who on earth was the general? After meeting them, Han Won-sok introduced the general to Jae-rin. His name was Kim La-cho. He was a Marine Corps brigadier. Jae-rin activated his analysis skill and realized the guy was a rank D human awakened. After they exchanged introductions, Han Won-sok explained the purpose of their visit. He told Jae-rin, Jeju Island was currently in total chaos. When they went to attack the indestructible cult, a lot of things changed. Every single guy who'd taken the cult's holy medicine suddenly had black smoke erupting from their heads. That was exactly when Han Won-sok and Kim La-cho took them all out. The crisis was averted, but the situation was far from rosy. The inner chambers had been corrupted by the cult's influence, leaving Jeju Island's command in a complete mess. They came to see Jae-rin because they wanted to move the uncorrupted civilians to the Human Union. Jae-rin thought about it for a second and agreed. This totally caught Kim La-cho off guard. After all, more people meant resources would burn out faster. Jae-rin did not give a damn. Forget the material resources. Manpower was the real key. Besides, it was a damn good deal. Jae-rin's move earned him both of their favor, letting him smoothly copy the clairvoyance and command skills. In the time that followed, it was a haul of food into the island, and a haul of refugees to the base. In just half a month, all those problems were solved, and with Kim La-cho joining in, the pace of training the soldiers sped up. His command skill turned his men into a tight-knit squad. Even Choi Loi, who once ran a martial arts dojo, was totally floored. Han Won-sok was assigned to the Investigation Bureau. His clairvoyance skill was not just for seeing 1,000 miles away. He could even monitor local sounds. The guy was basically a walking human satellite. You could say the base was growing by leaps and bounds now. Next on the list was the unfinished mobile fortress project. When Jae-rin mentioned the plan, Choi Loi thought he would finally lost his mind. There were over 10,000 people at the base now. If even a minor glitch happened, the damage would be irreparable. Jae-rin shrugged, saying such errors were only for human flaws. To avoid that, he integrated AI into everything for the mobile fortress. And next, it was time to test out Lash's skills. How cool would it be to manage your own city with AI during the apocalypse? Lasha did not disappoint. He successfully developed an AI to control the mobile fortress. He brought Jae-rin in to give it a whirl. As Wilson activated his conversion form, a system panel popped up in front of Jae-rin. System unlocked, special city management. Try managing all affairs within the city, even your wilder ideas. Seeing this, Jae-rin's smirk started looking a bit deranged. Hot damn, I did not expect this much. A city map unfolded clearly before his eyes. Wilson told Jae-rin, now, wherever you think of, the map will show it. Jae-rin gave it a shot. The next second, he was instantly there. He stared at his own feet in shock. Was this teleportation? Wilson started to explain. They only exist as virtual forms right now, but even so, their functionality is still insane. Beyond just surveillance, he can freely control the power grid, plumbing, and defense systems. Within this system, Jae-rin is basically the god of the city. Jae-rin tried tinkering with the security system. The results were pretty damn satisfying. Wilson told Jae-rin that even when he is outside the city, he can manage the city anytime, anywhere, whether it is zombies at the perimeter or an internal glitch. The system can handle it in the blink of an eye. After that briefing, he gave Jae-rin a progress report on the mobile fortress. They arrived at the construction site. Everything was moving like clockwork. Current progress is at 60%. 6 out of the 8 mechanical legs are finished. Each one is a C-grade alloy attachment. Seeing the plan he dreamed up finally taking shape. Jae-rin could not help but feel pumped. Meanwhile, Inside a stadium in City B, a manifestation of Ishtalar appeared. He whispered a low chant to the center of the stadium. "My loyal minion, wake up." A crack suddenly tore through the middle of the grass. The next second, a surge of pressure shot into the sky. As the thick smoke cleared, a fully reconstructed, howling skeleton pulled itself out. Once its body recovered, it dropped to one knee, looking up at Ishtalar with deep reverence. "Greetings, my great master. What are your orders?" "Cessor, you have a job to finish." With that, Ishtalar reached out his hand, initiating a memory share. All images of Zai Lin flooded into Cesar's mind. "Master, this human you speak of is truly formidable. How would you like me to proceed? He is indeed quite strong, which is why I want him for myself." As Ishtalar spoke, a flurry of chaotic wind gathered in his palm. "I will grant you the power to break free from the system's chains. Go all out and crush him." The chaotic wind continued to expand, turning the entire sky a blood red. A twisted smile began to spread across Ishtalar's face. "Destroy the roots of that guy. Leave nothing but ashes." A flash of red light flickered in Cesar's eyes. "As you command, my master. I will never let you down." A million-strong zombie horde is looming on the horizon, while the human side only has 3,000 fighters. Can they win this fight that seems utterly hopeless? Upon being freed from the system's chains, Cesar donned his golden armor and gathered his zombie army. When Zai Lin got the intel, he had a massive headache. According to Han Won-sok's report, the opposition is 1,000,000 strong. There is only 1 week left until the mobile fortress is complete. Based on the speed of their advance, we won't last a week. Han Won-sok proposed 2 plans, abandoning the base or holding off the zombies. Zai Lin immediately dismissed the idea of abandoning the camp. Relocating and rebuilding would take far too long. He told Han Won-sok to send a distress call to the Player Alliance. Once Brother Ma arrived, they held a private meeting. Kim Lasoo broke down the current situation to everyone. The zombie horde is currently building a siege perimeter. The scale is roughly 1,000,000 strong. Hearing that number, everyone gasped in unison. Brother Ma asked what their combat strength actually was. Zai Lin held up 3 fingers, showing he only had 3,000. Ma was left speechless. He only had a force of 1,000 on his side. Even putting it all together, the gap between the two sides was still night and day. That half-baked Park Da-bong, still claiming with a stiff upper lip that his men were all elite fighting machines. But Zai Lin pointed out, the enemies coming were also elite mutated zombies. Well, that did it. No one said a word. Zai Lin stated, they did not need to take them on head-on. They just had to hold out for 1 week. Waiting until the fortress shift was complete would be enough. Zai Lin was breaking out in a cold sweat. Does he have any clue what he is actually capable of? If they were just regular zombies, holding out for a week would not be a problem. But the ones on the other side are all mutants. And according to intel, the zombies are led by a gold-armored headless knight. Even if they managed to kill him, the remaining 1,000,000 zombies would not necessarily stop in their tracks. Zai Lin suggested. They had plenty of weapons and ammo. The only thing lacking right now was headcount. Why not recruit more soldiers during this week, expanding the force to 30,000? Zai Lin was not very keen on that proposal. Instead of drafting soldiers, how about letting them volunteer? If anyone shows signs of cowardice or bolts, it would be a devastating blow to their morale. But who would be willing to risk their life in this situation? If it came to a volunteer army, never mind 30,000. I doubt they could even scrape up 3,000. But we have to try one way or another. Zai Lin had Choi Loi gather the residents in the square. When he broke the news about the 1,000,000 zombies, some of those rats were already planning where to bury themselves. Of course, there were also those ungrateful little gits mixed in. No need to go into details here. In short, Zai Lin, using nothing but his silver tongue, managed to pull together 100,000 volunteers. However, even then, they were just a bunch of civilians who had never seen a battlefield. This time, could Zai Lin really hold down his base? Those little rats were too brave for their own good. With a 1,000,000-strong zombie army attacking, they even dared to climb onto the walls. Although the elders had added wooden spikes to the city walls, and the supplies had all been moved, Zai Lin still felt uneasy. Soon, Caesar's zombie army was at the gates. Seeing Zai Lin on the wall, a blood-red glare flickered in Caesar's eyes. Our great master said, "Do not leave a single one of them alive today. Charge. Now is the time to celebrate with a bloodbath." This time it really was a sea of corpses. Zai Lin saw this and gave the order to defend. Guo Duba's anti-aircraft gun opened fire. A swarm of zombies was instantly blown to bits. But unfortunately, in the face of the massive army, it was just a drop in the ocean. A giant python zombie lunged up toward the wall. The elder activated his skill, turning the spikes on the wall into vines that ensnared the giant beast. Yilin also joined the fray at that very moment. Magical girl transformation. The moment she transformed, the zombies were thrown into chaos. Taking advantage of this gap, the soldiers rushed off the walls and began slaughtering the zombies. Yilin even summoned a C-grade magic statue. Zai Lin also took the opportunity to dive into the battlefield. The first wave of defense was off to a flying start. However, Caesar remained completely unfazed. To destroy Zai Lin's base, he had mobilized 10 legions this time, and what came today was only one of them. He is loaded with firepower, and he has still got some secret weapons up his sleeve. The defensive battle has dragged on for 3 days. The field outside the walls is a graveyard. A lot of the soldiers are already hitting their limit, and they have burned through 90% of their ammo. Even the old-timer Rong Chun is about to break. The zombie horde just keeps on coming. If the wall repairs can't keep pace, this base is going down in no time. Luckily, morale has not totally tanked yet, but just then, a slimy green zombie slithered out from the pack. With every step he took, he left a trail of corrosive green gunk behind him. Zai Lin sensed something was off. He ordered the men to focus fire on the green freak. Bullets started spraying out like rain, but the zombie minions threw themselves in the way to shield it. Bang! One bullet finally found its mark. The next second, the green zombie exploded. The gunk splattered all over the minions, dissolving them in an instant. Zai Lin was just about to warn the others, when another explosion rocked the area. Wall 9 is melting away. We need backup. Wall 8 is in desperate need of repairs. Wall 7 is not going to hold either. The corrosive acid splashed onto Zai Lin's face, turning him green. That is when it clicked for him. The zombies had been wearing us down this whole time, just to make that green freak's ultimate move count, aiming to breach the walls in one go. Elder Rong Chun was shaking like a leaf. He told Zai Lin he was completely out of mana. Zai Lin gritted his teeth. Only one option left: trigger the emergency plan. Get the civilians underground. Now, Kim, so you warned Zai Lin. Even underground, there is no escaping that corrosive sludge. Zai Lin made up his mind. Looks like we have to take the fight to them. The best defense is a good offense. Let us go hunt that bastard down. The best defense is a good offense. The zombie army had deployed their acid spitters, and our wall repairs simply could not keep up. If we just kept cowering behind these walls, it was only a matter of time before we broke. Zai Lin led the charge as they burst through the gates. Sarsar was watching from behind the front lines. When he heard his scouts say the gates had opened, he thought his green zombies had done the trick. His underling reported, "The Human Alliance is making a push." This did not go exactly as he would planned. To him, these people were basically moths flying into a furnace. Meanwhile, Jiu Doba's tank squad led the vanguard. After activating his vehicle modification ability, 4 sets of chainsaws popped out on each side of the tanks. Even the bald guy had to admit that move was genius. The chainsaws went wild, shredding everything in their path. Jiu Doba ordered the formation to spread out and flank. Zai Lin followed close behind. The iron chains swept through the army like a scythe. In a heartbeat, flesh was flying everywhere. Amidst a chorus of shrieking, a yellow-haired zombie ape with a green magic stone roared and charged into the fray. But before he could even finish his howl, a massive boot-sized 250 slammed right into his face. Maji, having activated his giant form, crashed down like a living bomb. Wherever he passed, the earth shook and the world crumbled. At the same time, Yi Shu and Yi Rin were not about to be shown up either. They unleashed their skills to sweep up the mutant zombies. The regular zombies, being less of a threat, were handled by the human troops. Sarsar watched it all unfold with a cold gaze. He never dreamed a regiment could get wiped out this fast. A sudden, familiar and menacing sensation flooded through my entire body. An overwhelming force came crashing down on me. Wherever his fist stroke passed, the zombies were reduced to ashes. Sal's underlings were stunned. Is that hellish strength even human? Sal remained perfectly composed. He clapped his hands with a wicked grin. Not bad at all. No wonder he admired you so much. If things had gone according to plan, I would feel such a waste of your talents. So I will grant you one last act of kindness. Sal slowly rose from his throne of corpses. I had originally intended to wipe out everyone, but I have changed my mind now. Since you had the guts to charge in here, I should give you a chance. Accept the mark of my contract, and I will spare your worthless life. Man, he even managed to hit my face. This guy really loves to overact. Maji replied with a universal friendly gesture. Since that is how it is, there is nothing left to discuss. Sal turned his head to his underlings and ordered, Magter, you take command of the troop now. Don't leave a single one alive for me, even if it is an egg. Crush the yoke into pieces. His underlings took his orders and departed. Sal raised his weapon and shouted, the ceremony officially begins. A massive black sphere tore through the ground, isolating Zai Lin and the others. Sal's eyes glowed red as he mocked, naive human, welcome to my birdcage. This death knight is no pushover. The mount he summoned is a unicorn. Sal unleashed a black energy barrier, trapping Jae-rin inside. Looks like someone's going home horizontal today. Jae-rin swung his chain, trying to break the so-called cage, but it was useless. Sal told Jae-rin, if he does not make a choice quickly, then all his friends will turn into zombie feed. With a wide sweep of his hand, a massive magic circle emerged from beneath them. Remember my words. In this birdcage, I am the master. A dark unicorn clawed its way out from the center of the array. Sal grabbed and mounted the back of the horse. His hollow eyes radiated a blood-red glow. Today, I will let you have a taste of despair. Both sides clashed instantly. Chain versus broadsword. The impact was like a comet striking the earth. As the dust settled, Jae-rin held onto the chain for dear life. The force from the broadsword made sweat bead on his forehead. Right now, Sal's mount suddenly targeted Jae-rin. A sharp horn thrust violently at him. Jae-rin cursed under his breath, twisting his chain to block the strike. Seeing this, Sal pulled the chain hard with his broadsword. Though your strength is not bad, it is all a waste of energy. Jae-rin was dragged down to the ground. The unicorn raised its front hooves, preparing to trample him. Jae-rin quickly twisted his body to dodge under the hooves. But before he could stand steady, the broadsword was already upon him. Sal's swordplay was sharp and ferocious. Jae-rin parried repeatedly, his figure retreating rapidly. He had narrowly missed being cut multiple times. Sal paused his swings and let out a mocking sneer. Haha, is that all you have got? Why do not you take a look behind you? Your friends are just about wiped out, are not they? You are right. There are too many evolved zombies out there. And those of us awakened who can actually fight, we are a rare breed. Jae-rin knew the guy was just trying to mess with his head. He gritted his teeth, forcing himself to stay focused. The Death Knight possessed incredible swordsmanship and overwhelming power. And more importantly, that thing he is riding on. The damn thing is everywhere at once. So that is the first thing I need to take down. Sarsel thought Jae-rin was out of moves. He kept running his mouth non-stop. Even his mount was starting to look visibly annoyed by him. Guess he has not learned that villains who talk too much always end up dead. He slowly approached Jae-rin, mocking him with a sneer. What cat got your tongue? Scared stiff, are we? Jae-rin let out a dry chuckle. In your dreams, I have just made up my mind, that is all. Starting with your horse. How many tricks can a Death Knight's warhorse even have? Using its horns to charge in and out, and kicking with those front hooves everywhere. Jae-rin knew one thing. If he wanted to take out the Death Knight, there was no way he could leave that mount standing. Jae-rin surged forward toward him. This time, he went in with a suicide-style move. He ducked to dodge Sarsel's broadsword, but his arm was left wide open within the horse's attack range. The sharp horn pierced right through Jae-rin's arm. Ignoring the searing pain, he unleashed a rear kick. A size 44 boot connected squarely with the horse's backside. Thwack! The warhorse felt something invasive enter its body. A gut-wrenching agony sent it into a blood-curdling screech. A furious Sarsel raised his broadsword. You bastards always fight dirty. Shadows of blades clashed, mostly raining down on Jae-rin. Jae-rin gritted his teeth and held his ground. He knew the guy would not go for a killing blow, not when his orders were to capture him alive. The king's aura gathered atop the iron chains. Jae-rin unleashed his fist toward the warbird. Blows landed like a torrential downpour. Like 10,000 wild horses trampling through, the Death Knight's mount dissolved into a pile of black smoke, finished for good. The Death Knight was completely bewildered, giving it his all, even getting hurt just to kill off his own mount. Is this fight even worth continuing? Jae-rin chuckled again. I am a pure skill fighter, buddy. Stamina below 15%. Activate trait, super recovery. Mana surging throughout his body. Jae-rin is back to full health again. Sarsel's broadsword scraped and clattered in his grip. In a rage, he raised his weapon and charged. You motherfucker, you are really playing shameless now, are not you? Jae-rin caught the whip in both hands, meeting the guy's blade head-on. The heavens shook and the earth cracked. As the smoke cleared, the broadsword was blocked. Sarsel slashed down in fury, his golden right foot slamming into Jae-rin, sending him flying back several meters. You pathetic human. You think I can't handle you just because I lost my mount? Jae-rin smirked as he crawled back up. Hey, maybe you should look at your own guts first. Cracks were already forming on Sarsel's armor. He could not believe it. Jae-rin had actually managed to counterattack in such a short time. Jae-rin stared coldly at his opponent. My judgment was perfect. A knight without his mount is already half broken. Right now, in my eyes, Sarsel is nothing but a walking target with holes everywhere. And every single move he made was clearly recorded in Jae-rin's mind. Jae-rin seized the opening. A punch square to the chest, triggering the explosive special ability. The chain link detonates on the Death Knight. Direct hit. Jae-rin retracts the chain, clenching both fists high above his head. Big moves leave big openings. He figured those gaps were perfect to bait him in. Just as expected, Sa-el swings his broadsword at Jae-rin, but this time, he only hits an afterimage. Jae-rin's real body is already behind him. A blinding light erupts from Jae-rin's hands. Forgot to tell you, fighting takes a bit of brain power. One punch to the gut. One punch to the heart. Even Sael did not see it coming. To think he would be beaten this badly after losing his warhorse. He watches Jae Rin coldly and mutters, "I will admit it. I underestimated you." Sael takes a combat stance with his sword held in both hands. "Never thought you would actually force me to use this." As soon as he spoke, a phantom monster with fangs appeared out of thin air. Sael lashed out with his broadsword. The phantom charged at Jae Rin. Jae Rin smirked. A massive, imposing phantom king rose up behind him. "Hey, wanna end this in one go? Too bad, I have got a cheat code too." Fist shadows follow. The mind commands the strike. With enough force to shatter stone, he pierces the monster's core. His final ace has been neutralized. Sael has no choice but to go for broke. Jae Rin's battle is basically won now. But outside, things are looking grim. Guodoba's android has been torn limb from limb. Ma Ji is also surrounded by a horde of zombies. It is all looking pretty hopeless. Most importantly, the zombie army just keeps comin' and comin'. Just when everyone was losing hope, a cracking sound came from the top of the birdcage. Snap. Sael's body emerged from within. "Damn it, I lost." That was his last word as he collapsed to the ground. Margaret looked on, completely stunned. Is that human really that strong? Jae Rin stood shirtless before Sael's corpse. He was definitely strong. If not for my super recovery skills, I would have been a goner long ago. Sael's body slowly faded into a phantom mist. A glowing magic stone fell to the floor. By the time Margaret rushed over, Jae Rin had already picked up the stone. Saw. Lord Sael lust. Impossible. Jae Rin chuckled. Go ahead and meet him yourself. Holding the blue magic stone in his hand, Jae Rin chose to upgrade. Upgrading C rank skills to B rank. Main skill strengthened. All currently recorded skills can now be promoted to B rank. A crushing aura exploded from within him. Jae Rin's eyes gleamed. This power trip feels way too good. Before Margaret could snap out of her shock, Jae Rin vanished from her sight. Hey, looking for your daddy. Margaret could not even let out a scream. Jae Rin blasted her lower half to oblivion. Hey, time for my main event.